I Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. It is Thursday. Okay. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Okay. If you don't mind. And also feel free to support the channel if you feel so inclined. Now, today, let me do this. Good morning, the truth. Good morning to you.
Good morning. You're early.
I'm on time. Can I what?
Well, I was expecting 10.
Well, I mean, see, that's what you underestimate me. Mm-hmm. And I was happy.
Hey, niggas.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Oh, now I see why. Now I see why Baby Petty smacks the shit out of you all the time.
Because I said, "Hey, niggas."
See, there you go. You about to get smacked.
No, she playing. Ouch! Why you hit me?
Hey, people.
They said hi.
What you doing, people?
Going live.
Going live?
Yeah, Truth is live with Pennywise and myself.
True?
Yeah.
Who's Pennywise?
He's that one.
Hello, Pennywise.
Good morning, Good morning, big girl Patty.
You talking about this one?
Yeah.
Hey, Pennywise.
You said hey back, but I got the headphones on, so you can't hear me.
I can't hear Pennywise.
Why?
Because I can hear Pennywise.
Hold on, I'm sick of y'all. Hold on, Pennywise. She wants to hear you speak back to her.
Hey.
Good morning, big girl Patty.
What you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Hey, Truth Hurts is here too. Did you say hi to her?
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, good morning.
What you doing?
Hey, you know what? E. Brooks is in the chat. Did you say hi to E. Brooks?
Hey, E. Brooks.
What the E. Brooks ain't on the.
Hey, E. Brooks.
She is not on the panel, ma'am.
What panel for on there? Where? Did I trick me?
Nobody tricked you. You just talking.
Daddy. Over there.
That's Truth and that's Pennywise. Yes, Truth is that one.
Hi, Truth.
Oh,
Hi,
the hearts.
Good morning.
Hey, what you doing? What you doing?
She just gave you the hearts and the unicorns.
This way?
Yeah, that one.
Hey, E-Books. I think we're talking, laughing.
Who's laughing?
Why E-Books just say hey?
It's because she in the chat. She not up there talking.
E-Brooks just gave you.
Yeah, I'll call E-Brooks when you get off.
E-Brooks just gave you a whole bunch of hearts and unicorns.
Yeah.
I gotta be stupid.
Hey, Pennywise.
You already said, hey, Pennywise. Now you repeating yourself.
Hey, Pennywise. Hey, Pennywise.
Good morning, baby girl, big girl Petty.
Are you done?
Pennywise.
Which one are you?
My dog here. Look at that nice. I'm feeling the night mode. My dad's being a little bit mean.
Oh wait, she wants to
Daddy,
see.
want
She
you to be
wants.
nice?
A little bit mean, but a little bit nicer.
Daddy, want you to be nice?
No,
I'm playing on night mode.
leave me alone, chicken lord.
I'm playing on evil mode and night mode.
You gonna put me on evil mode?
Night mode and evil mode. Playing in both modes.
You put me in both modes?
Yeah.
All
We
right, is
have
that
the
better?
light
Can she?
and evil.
That does she see the screen, Trey?
Are you done?
Well, you can I know you're supposed to be an evil clown and fun. Not be nice to people. That's why you being nice and wait, how come you back
He didn't put the emblem up because you were asking where he was, so he put his avatar up.
I see the petticoat. Hey, petticoat.
Hey,
Is that you there?
yes, I'm the petty goat.
What has you been like so high up there? No, I don't even see the petticoat. I don't see any. I don't even see the petticoat anymore.
Yeah, because Pennywise on the screen.
Hmm.
Are you done?
I'm looking at the next.
You want to sit next to me? You would not go do. Start the show, people. She want to sit next to me. This could go on for a minute. Start the show, Truth. Ignore us.
She makes our day. You need to stop. You need to stop.
This is the way we need to. This is the way we need to start every show on a happy note with the baby Petty talking to us. So there
Absolutely.
it is.
Absolutely.
There's your assignment.
All right, people. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. I wish y'all hit that like button. Be true. You ready? Did you do your homework?
Yeah, they're not. I don't see anything that's come up in their area about him. And then
Right.
I checked the jails, and that he had to be out on bond for a while because nothing's coming up.
Wow.
And then I couldn't get into the bond database. Something was going on last night, and I couldn't get in the bond database. So he definitely. But some of the things that I did find, it seems like domestic violence, but not with her. He may have another kid, because I know he's got other children besides hers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I read something where he does have other kids. I think I'm not for sure though. I read so much stuff, and I'm also researching other cases that I'm gonna do next. But I think he does, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. But today, y'all, we're gonna get into, as you can tell by the title, we're gonna get into the 911 call, which we started the other day, and we're gonna listen to it in its entirety. We're also going to talk about the red camera footage, and she testified. This case is, I think, pretty much almost over, right? So that's why I want to get all of this in today. Today's live might be a little lengthy, not for sure, but I want to finish everything that's already out there, because I think this case is about it, because she's already testified.
Now, my opinion, I think this is going to end up just like that kid that killed his parents. Because you're gonna get. Yeah, I know, but 2 other mistrials because they couldn't come to a decision.
Right, and we're gonna get into some updates on that as well too. Probably this weekend. I'm thinking this weekend we got some updates on a couple of cases we've been following. But yeah. So you think this might end in a mistrial?
Well, because you're gonna get some people, and it could be women, it could be men, that are very sympathetic to the fact that he was a serial abuser, which has already been said to the jury, that he was a serial abuser, and that he threatened her life, that he told he gonna beat her ass.
That day.
So you're going to get some people that are sympathetic, and the prosecutor knows this because that's why he tried to stay away from all that.
Mm-hmm.
But now they know. So you're going to get some people that are sympathetic to her, and she's constantly crying in court. Constantly.
I don't imagine. Now, to be true, I saw, and I'm not for sure if it's her because I didn't really go and get into it. I'm not. Yesterday when we was trying to figure out what she did for a living, I think you said something where you thought she on the text or something, but I actually saw something where she supposedly is like a counselor and an educator. I don't know.
I saw that. I found a LinkedIn.
Yeah,
and the LinkedIn was to someone who was like a counselor, a therapist, like a and very very successful. And he looked like a bum.
Yep. So I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's her or not. I look into it, and I saw it like right before I came live. But I'm gonna have to look into that because if that's her, it's amazing how these therapists and counselors and things of that nature, they have so much going on in their personal lives. Like she's not the only person. If that's her, that we've seen stories on, and it's supposed to be like therapists and counselors and all that. They have a lot going on in their own personal lives, so it will be interesting.
A majority of counselors look for broken people to get involved with that they think they can fix.
Oh yeah,
they become their personal project, and he just looked like a bum. Ain't nobody missing him.
Well, I ain't gonna call him a bum. I'm gonna say he was not the he was not the most refined character. That's what I'm saying. But yeah. So listen, the first thing we're gonna get into, y'all, is we're gonna listen to the actual 911 call, and this is, and I noticed one thing about Court TV, they're not like covering this trial like you know how normally with Court TV they cover the trial coverage and they're in the courtroom live.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that. I think they're running another case live right now, and this is drops.
Yeah, they just drop. They're not like actually putting the whole, they're not covering live like they do like they've done other trials. They're just making drops and just making videos of something.
I know they were catching some flack for all the dead air time. Be popping up on these things.
Well, yeah, and then the thing about it is nobody else, even Law, that channel, I like the Law and Justice channel. They're not even covering the live courtroom coverage. Like,
well, because there's so much dead time. You got all these old ass attorneys that don't understand how to use the monitors, and then hold on. I got it somewhere over here. And you spend 10 minutes waiting for them to find a piece of paper.
Hey, Missy, don't have a day at work, sweetie.
But if I was a defendant, I would jump up and say, "What happened to a speedy fucking trial?" I don't understand. What happened to a speedy trial?
So over there, the Brian dude, he don't waive his right to a speedy trial, but he's also defending himself, so he's just crazy. You know, the guy that killed the university students. What's his name? The one.
Yeah, he's just doing that to muddy the water.
Yeah, he's gonna go on forever.
It will. Again, I always said, and I said this when I was covering it a while ago. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room.
He does.
If you're smart, act like you're dumb and watch what happens. People usually try to put things over on you, and then you point them out. If you act like you're so smart and you got everything covered, they don't do that shit. But if you act dumb, they just start doing all kinds of stupid shit.
All right, so y'all, we're gonna get into the, and I'm gonna cover everything I need to cover today because, like I said, I think pretty soon they're gonna have like a verdict or a mistrial call or whatever they're gonna do. This case is not one of those long drawn out cases, and so I want to get caught up. So we're gonna get into the 911 call, and we're gonna listen. The truth, you can stop me, Trey can stop me anytime, and let's get into it. Let's see. I think I already had it pulled up. Good morning, Miss Tan, and good morning, girl. All right, so this is.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We're watching the self-defense or murder trial for defendant Quenisha Johnson. She's accused of shooting her boyfriend, DeMonte, called to the house, but left shortly after. No signs of physical abuse were observed. On the stand now, the 911 records custodian. The first 911 call was made at 10:02 a.m. on November 27th. Let's go into the courtroom.
Since I'm not going to show this while they're talking. Good morning, Charlene. Good morning, Miss Sonia. Hey, man. Y'all come on in. Duchess, y'all come on in. Make sure y'all hit that like button, please. I'm going to give y'all this. This is a visual of what I'm looking at right now.
Okay, she is very, very successful. All right, her house is worth $284,000. She makes about 80 or 85,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely is her house.
It looks like a pretty, nice house. So what we saw. Give me a second. Y'all, let me type my door right quick.
Okay, yeah, it's a nice house. 7, yeah, that's it. Oh, there's her phone number. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking her up now. It's a 4,300 square foot home. It was built in 2000, and she just bought this house in 2021. Oh, sorry, guys. Now let's see.
So I thought she was so she bought
Well,
it.
I'm guessing they're just putting up what the house value is that she's living at. So whoever she's leasing it, but whoever owns it, it's not showing me. Let me see who owns it.
You lease it to
Yeah, non-owner occupied.
Yeah, she could be.
It's owned by it's owned by a corporation.
Gotcha.
Oh, she got a fireplace and everything in her 2-car garage.
It looked like it was a pretty nice house, And she had a deadbeat. But anyway, let's get into this call, y'all. And that's what I'm looking at right now. This is the 911 operator test. All right, let's go.
Yeah, this is the emergency. 796 Eden Berry. Repeat the address. 796 Eden Berry Lane. I think Eden Valley. Eden. EDENBERRY. And I can really hear you. EDENBERRY Lane. Okay, D as in Edward, D as in David? Yes. And then E as in Edward? Yes, and then the Nancy, Berry, BERRY, B as in Berry, E as in Igloo, RRY as in, I don't know. Sorry. Okay, Eden Berry, correct? Yes, it's also Eden Lane, and last one, New Jersey. I'll put up for us. And you said 796? 796, yes. Eden Berry. EDENBERRY. And is it, Road Drive? It's a lane. Elliott is an MVP. Okay, the only unitary coming up is Drive for Gwinnett, is that right? No, it's in DeKalb County. It's also about Pickle Road off of Edinburgh Way. It's up what it says. You said off the Rock Chapel Road? Yes, and the close road is Edinburgh Way. ASC, new line, Edinburgh. And you know, either 96, either Lane or Way. Lane. It's also Edinburgh Way. Okay. We don't, the only thing shown is Edenberry Way and then not with 796. Okay, so Edenberry Way is like right on the corner from Edenberry Way. You don't have a lane. It's not showing a lane. It's right on the border. It is. It's a crossroad from Edenberry Way and Edenberry Lane. So it's like Edenberry Way is another lane, but then Edenberry Lane is one. Okay. If you could just research it constantly, yeah, I'm trying to find out the address is not coming up for us. Okay. What is the direct nearest cross street? Is it Way? It's Edinburgh Way. Okay, that's a house or apartment? It's a house. Okay, and then what's the phone number you're calling from? 724-427-3743. Okay, what's going on in the location? I'm getting, okay, so my boyfriend, he put in once I get into the house. I tell someone there. He is, yes.
It's breaking up on that end. I'm not.
He just got out of the cat company about a month ago. I mean, how long until you arrive at the location? I'm on 7 minutes. 9 minutes. Did you say there? 9 minutes? 9 minutes, yeah. What kind of car are you in? Color name? I'm in a white Dodge Ram pickup. Okay, what's your name? My name is USNEE Johnson. And what do you need an escort for? Are you just trying to gather belongings or? Yeah, I live there. The house that I need, I just see him. He's threatening security, so I just want some people from those conversations. Okay. And what does he look like? He's licensed, he has jazz, there's a set on his face, medium build, 5'4". Does he have any weapons? Yeah, I call it. Okay. We'll go ahead and get somebody out there. You said you're about 9 minutes? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and put it on. No problem. I'll put someone in there for you.
Ms. Brown, are you able to say from the CAD transcript, from your knowledge, whether police were dispatched to this location to meet with the caller?
Yes.
Was there ever, do you know, contact actually made with the caller prior to police arrival? And are you referring to that transcript to refresh your memory?
Yes. But
Okay.
when you say, repeat your question, what do you say?
Do you have any indication, does communications have any indication in the transcript or otherwise that there was direct contact made with the caller by an officer?
Yes.
And what time was that?
At 10:29 a.m.
And that would be a direct contact prior to police arrival?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What time was the second call made, if you're able to say?
At 11:04 a.m.
Emergency 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Excuse me, I was close to call again, but I was hoping to my destination, for the dispatch hospital, well, for the hospital dispatch to come back out. She said she has another emergency, and it should be right there, and I'm not supposed to take my destination.
It's muted on it. It actually stopped. So let's see what happens.
When I got to my destination, I didn't close my eyes to head to just like check out the things. But when I got here, the cop was here and she said she had something that was going on closer to my destination, and she gave me to call down. When I got closer, and she made a note to dispatch that I was going to for her to come in.
Okay, and this was 796 Edensbury Lane?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and the issue was between yourself and who else?
My boyfriend.
Okay, is he there right now?
Yes, yes. I don't want to go into the house because they told me to meet them at the end of the court test.
Okay. So are you waiting in the cul-de-sac? All right, one moment. To your knowledge, are there any weapons or alcohol involved?
Huh?
To your knowledge, are there any weapons or alcohol involved?
No, I mean, I'm licensed to carry, but my weapon is not that.
Okay, what is your name?
Alicia Johnson. Cuanceej Johnson.
Okay, we'll get the police out there, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, bye.
Ms. Brown, are you able to determine whether notification was made to police to go ahead and come back to the location?
Yes,
And what time was call number 3 made?
at 11:40 a.m.
Can I bring pop up? 796 Edensbury.
Okay, okay, help you.
I was told that someone was out here. She told me to call you guys sick and let you know that when I got closer to my destination, I'm actually here at Thompson's. I've been here for about an hour, and I called again. I know the dispatcher supposed to be able for me to dispatch someone in the area. I'm still sitting here kind of wondering how the person down here doesn't matter sitting here in the house today.
Okay, are you Ms. Johnson?
I mean,
We're gonna come out there and meet with you. You're in a Dodge Ram?
I am. My kids is in the house, so I don't know what this person is born. I don't know how it's going to be aged. I have a newborn and a 4 and 7-year-old in the house. I don't go in there and
Right, and so they're gonna come out and assist you with this.
he was here. She told me that she was going to go around the corner to get another call. They were dispatched on. He told me to call them immediately. I got there, but I don't know. I didn't hear about it.
I'm looking at the call that, I'm not sure about any previous calls, but this call that we're coming back out to, we got at 11:04. A little under.
Yeah, I found his record. Hello?
Okay, so that was the end of that, y'all. That was the end of that video. So that's good timing, D. True. Go ahead. Let's go.
So I found his record. of what he's on bond for. It says right here. Now he has a violation of probation, a wanted person located, battery, family violence, first offense, and this was March 31st, 2023.
So that could have been what she was talking about. She didn't want to get him into any more trouble than what he was already in, and that might have been what she was talking about.
So this one was March 17th. The wanted person was January 11th. Wanted in Atlanta, because that's where he's from, was at Atlanta, was May of 2020. He was wanted out of Atlanta for the battery family violence, which was May 7th, 2021, and he's out on a surety bond, which was $5,000 out of Atlanta.
Wow. So, like I said, that could have been what she was talking about when she was saying something about him already being in trouble.
Now, here's something that we didn't put out. You know, he's 5'6" and he weighs 180 pounds.
He ain't that big.
No.
He's short. He's shorter than me.
So here's another, unless this is a rearrest of the family battery, was February 4th, 2022. So I believe that's when they may have, because it goes right along. So here's February 22. He was released January 16th, 2022. That one's confusing, but violation of probation was May 28th, 2023. So he's out on the bond right now. Well, not anymore, but yeah, that was that's his bond that I'm looking at.
Wow.
For $5,000, and it was for family violence, which means basically what family violence means is that there's a kin to you, but it also could be it's family violence, so it could be against a family member versus the mother of your child. But sometimes they throw that in there too. They label it family violence when it's the mother of your child. Instead of domestic abuse, they'll put family violence. So he does have a history of it.
And that's what we thought. That's what we thought.
And he is from Atlanta, where they live in Lithium, Georgia. I hope I'm saying that right.
It's Lithonia.
Yeah, Lithonia. So that's right. Now here's the funny thing. It says, like I'm looking at another database, and it says his job title is track star.
Track star.
Yeah, that's what it says. Track star.
What is that?
Could it be a code for, could he, because he's putting this on LinkedIn and other things.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's
All right.
coming to this one
Top
database.
they are. Welcome back to Court TV.
So, all right. Well, now we got a little background on him.
Well, now we know about the history. So the next video we're gonna listen to, and I'm gonna try to show you some visuals because I wish I could show it, but I just don't know how Court TV would, react to their, content being, viewed or whatever. So the next video is self-defense. Jury reviews ring camera footage. So apparently, I don't know if it's her ring camera footage or her neighbors at this point, but we'll hear about it. Let's get into it, y'all.
TV Live, I'm Ted Rowlands. Defendant Quenisha Johnson is facing a jury in Georgia this afternoon. She's accused of murdering her live-in boyfriend, DeMonte Smith. Johnson claims she shot him in self-defense. Key evidence in this case is the police body camera video taken moments before the shooting, when Johnson, who called police, talks about potentially shooting Smith in self-defense.
I'm just taking a walk and I feel like I'm in danger. What's the address? 796 Airway. Okay, do you know the phone number you're calling from? Do you know the phone number you're calling from? I don't know.
Rambling, are you saying my sound or the sound of the video? Your sound is a little distorted, but your clip are clear, so that's good. So you're talking about the sound of the audio of the video?
No, you are a little choppy. Better than yes. Yeah, you're a little choppy when you come out.
Oh wow. Okay, let me try to fix it. Y'all. Let me try to fix it. I gotta get this shit right. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go ahead and hook my mic back up.
Well, if you stop bringing the mic underwater so you can make those weird sounds when you're doing your weird stuff under the water. It's not a waterproof mic.
I don't know. What about no, the video is clear? Okay, so what about now? What about now?
I'm thinking it's your. See, I wish I could see your settings. I'm thinking it may be your audio settings, or the mic.
No, because I'm not. See, my mic is not hooked up. I'm using the mic on the laptop.
Yes, you need to get a mic.
Right, so what
a USB mic.
When I come back, I have a mic. All right, so what do I sound like now?
You're there, but then you stop for a second, then you come back. 'Cause remember, we were having that problem before.
Oh.
So let's muscle through it. We'll be all right. Like they say, just push. It'll be over soon.
It says you, but it's not messing up. All right, so I'm gonna go on mute because I'm going. I need to make a phone call. So, D-True.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I need to play this and let it play, or let you talk?
Yeah. Go ahead and let it play. Let it play.
All right, so am I sounding okay to continue right now?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
That was a 911 call that was made by the defendant's daughter, who was on the stand this morning. A very emotional day in court. One had to perceive from our angle. It was very difficult to actually tell how clear it was, because for us it was hard to hear sometimes. But for Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae, who was inside the courtroom, she can fill us in. Let's start with this, Julia. First of all, how did the little girl come across? To what extent did her story vary? And then most importantly, juror reaction.
Oh, Ted, good to be with you. It was like we were all holding our breath inside of the courtroom, not wanting to add to the strain of what this must be like for this little girl. When she came into the courtroom, the prosecutor led her in, and you could see in her eyes, she just didn't want to be there. She was very nervous. She walked very slowly up to the witness stand. This was difficult for Quenisha as well. We saw her walking into the courthouse this morning. She was pretty late showing up. Got there with her children, and that her children were able to be there, and this little girl taking the stand today. But I noticed the prosecutor putting a Kleenex next to her, not sure if she was going to cry. She kept her composure throughout it, but the prosecution made sure to stand to the child's left, making sure that her gaze was her mother. I even noticed during the direct examination there was a mentioning of, even if you don't know, you don't need to look over at your mother for an answer, which is the natural reaction for a child who's in a situation like this. Her story, though, I won't say that it varied, but she said different things in the same way. She said that her mom was not the one to hit Dolo with a tire arm, but she did describe it this way when the prosecution asked her on the stand.
Now, when your mom came into the house that day, she asked you to call 911?
So listen, y'all, this is the daughter testifying. They're not going to show it, but listen.
Yes.
She gave you her phone?
Yes.
And did you know that there were police already outside that day?
No.
Okay.
Because he was hitting her.
Okay. And
He asked if her mother.
did she tell you why she wanted you to call 911?
Because he was hitting her.
Okay. Your mom went up the stairs?
Yes.
Okay. And you saw the man from Dolo, you saw him hit your mom?
Yes.
Could you see from where you were downstairs, could you see everything that was happening upstairs?
Not everything.
Okay. Could you see your mom?
For a second.
Could you see Dolo?
Yes.
And you said that you heard a gunshot?
Yes.
Did you actually see a gun? You see your mom pull a gun and shoot?
I didn't see her pull a gun.
You just heard the gunshot?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember telling an officer, a police officer, and your aunt on the phone, did you tell them that, did you say your mom and Dolo went upstairs and mommy hit him with a pole?
No, Dolo hit him with her elbow.
Okay. Do you remember say that? Did you say mommy hit him with a pole?
No, Dolo hit her with a pole.
Okay. And did you ever tell the police? Do you remember telling the police that mommy hit Dolo?
Yes.
You told them that?
Because I thought I needed to.
Okay. You thought you needed to? Why did you think that you needed to?
I don't know.
Okay. Did your mommy hit Dolo with a pole?
No, it was something from a vacuum.
When you hear that little girl put her through this, put her on the stand, they wanted to show that she may have been coached. I don't know that that fully came out, Ted, in the way that they had her under direct examination, but I'll tell you her demeanor was so different today, much more solemn than it was in the forensic interview where she was sitting in a room with coloring paper and pens and pencils, drawing away and recounting this in a much more upbeat and carefree way.
Yeah, I wonder, is it worth it to put a child through it in a case like this? At the end of the day, how much is the ball being moved for the jury? I guess it's we'll just have to wait and see. New angle of the Eddie, does that move the ball in your estimation? Does it help either side?
It could move the ball. It could be helpful to the defense, depending.
Hold on, I said this. Hold on. So, what you think about the daughter's testimony, even though they only played just a small part of it?
Yeah, but I think the jury's going to see through what the prosecutor's trying to do. You know, and again, kids on the stand is not a good thing. First off, a woman juror does not like to see a child on the stand.
I don't, but sometimes.
So she's looking at it like, why did you do this to this child? You had her testimony, you have her videotape. You don't need her on the stand. But what they were trying to show is that they can easily manipulate her testimony by saying certain things.
Mm-hmm.
They want her to say multiple different things to show that she was coached into saying this thing. Because remember, she kept saying, do you remember saying to the police officer that mommy hit Dolo in the head? You know, and she's like, yeah. So, you know, but a lot of women jurors will find that very offensive, that you're putting this child through that and the way you're treating this child on the stand.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the breakup is of the jury. I know the defense probably wanted to get more women than men on the jury. And the prosecutor wanted to get more men than women on the jury. So it'd be interesting to see if it's 6-6.
Right. All right. So they're going to talk about the ring camera now.
On how the jury hears where there's a portion of that ring camera, which it's also already very difficult to listen to because it's after the shooting victim comes outside, he drops to the street, there's children screaming in the aftermath. But pay attention to what Quenisha says when she exits after the shooting victim comes out. She says something like, I told you all, talking to police, that blank would do it. And I say blank because there's a dispute between both of these sides as to what pronoun goes in that blank. Take a listen.
Oh my God! Wait a minute! Do y'all hear? Oh my God! It's the babies for me.
Yeah, well, they're arresting their mother.
I know. It's the babies for me. Oh Jesus!
And it's the one that's on the stand that's screaming like that.
Oh my God! Okay.
And they got her blurred out, but that's her right there chasing the mother.
What do you? I told y'all do it. Still seemed like she said I was do it.
The state's investigator there hears, I told you I would do it. Ted, I was sitting next to our photojournalist who's inside of the courtroom, Peter Noel. He heard the word he. I couldn't hear the word I told him. I told you all he would do it. Is this going to be evidence that the jury's going to ask for once they're in deliberation so they can play it over? Who knows?
Yeah, well, it's we've seen this before in different cases. It's if you have something in your mind, sometimes that's what you hear, and it can be very confusing. What's next? What do we expect this afternoon?
Oh, we just got finished hearing from the medical examiner on the stand.
Let's talk about the he or the I.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's very important because if she's saying, "I told you he would do it," she's referring to addressing the police officers.
Yeah.
As they were about to leave, that he was going to beat my ass. I told you he was going to beat my ass. I told you he would do it. So her defense is that he attacked her before she did anything aggressive. She's saying, I only took the tire iron out of the car to defend myself. Okay? I had the gun, but I took the tire iron to defend myself, and that would be my minimum, the minimum aggression that I would use. Maybe the tire iron would persuade him not to hit me. In her words, beat my ass, as he kept repeating to her in text messages and on the phone. So it is very important, because if she says, I told you I would do it, versus I told you he would do it. So again, he said it. It's what you want to believe you hear. So the jurors who believe she's guilty are going to hear, I told you I would do it. The ones that think she's innocent are going to hear, I told you he would do it. So is that confusion enough to put out reasonable doubt? Yes, it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's listen to.
And the parts that were most important, perhaps, to the self-defense claim, because there's no argument between these sides that this is a homicide, was where DeMonte Smith was shot. We saw those images, really difficult for everyone involved inside of this courtroom. I spoke to DeMonte's mother, who's sitting there along with his ex-girlfriend who already testified. But also the defendant seemed to be very much emotionally impacted by seeing those autopsy photos on the screen. But through his shoulder and armpit is where that bullet entered and exited, and he was wearing heavy clothing. The medical examiner said he can't make any determination as to whether
shoulder armpit area. What did it hit? That's weird.
Understand something. The armpit will excessively bleed.
You know what that shot means to me? Like where she shot him at.
That's not a very good shot.
Well, no, that could be it. But to me, it seems like she didn't try to kill him.
Or he was moving.
Or
meaning he was coming. He was coming at
with the motherfucking tire on. Come on now.
So now it's very important, because I don't know if they're going to specify whether it entered through the armpit or it entered through the shoulder and exited.
Hold on. Let me do this. I didn't want to do it because it's got a little with me on it, but it is a picture. So I can give you a more visual of where they're
Okay, that X has, that's not a, well, and maybe it traveled through the armpit. Okay, so the I don't.
So
if
like it went through the armpit, it
came out through the chest, because I don't see a shoulder. I see a chest.
I do too.
And I see a back. I don't see an armpit. I don't know, what is this lady looking at?
I don't know, but
that looks like a chest and out the back, which would be very.
That's what it look like to me.
Yeah, which would be, very reasonably to believe that would happen, because if you look at where on the chest and the angle on the back, means he would be kind of turned. You see what I'm saying? That his shoulder would be back a little bit when it entered the chest. See the angle? So the angle, if you drew a straight line from there, which is the left side, and I'm gonna flip around. No, it was a straight shot through. So it wasn't angled. So if you flip the rear picture to lay on top of the front picture, that would be, it went straight through, chest out the back. I don't know where she get the armpit from.
I don't know where she getting it from either.
I don't hear any sound. Are you muted again?
Yeah, my phone rang. I said, give me a second.
All right. Okay. All right. So let me see what they're asking in the Well, so Sonia says, I thought she told the child to say he hit her. Well, she told the child to call 911 and tell them that he hit her, is what she told the child to say to the 911 operator. The child is saying that she saw him hit her. See what I'm saying? The child said to the court, "No, I saw him hit her." Did you see your mommy pull the gun out? No, I didn't see a gun. I heard it. So, and there was no confusion. She didn't hesitate to answer it. See what I'm saying? So it wasn't like she had to think about it or look at her mother for approval. Because you remember, one of the tactics they use when they have a child on the stand testifying against their parents is they position themselves so the child can't see the parent, because the parent will nod or shake her head back and forth to say no, or up and down to say yes as a signal to the end. And a lot of times they'll have somebody watching the mother, and I've seen where they've removed parents from the court, from the proceedings, while they have the child on the stand, if they feel that the mother has been coaxing the child on the stand with yes and no answers.
So what testimony do you think is more effective, even though being in the courtroom and should be, but the child sitting in a room with crayons and things of that nature, and I'm questioning the child right after it happened, or the testimony in a courtroom?
The video of the child, but again, the problem. Yeah, right after that is way more effective, because it's a brutally honest. It's a brutally honest, but the problem is that they can't coach the child or ask the child specific questions outside of what the detective is asking. So if they feel the detective didn't ask forthcoming questions or didn't push the child in any way to maybe give more testimony, then they'll try to cross-examine the child. So I believe they think that the detectives were too easy on the child.
So we have split decisions around y'all. Some of us think it was self-defense, others think not. So apparently the courts don't think it was self-defense, so she would be on trial. But it's
the grand jury thought that this wasn't self-defense, and they came back with charges.
Right.
of murder. So, but again, the prosecutor is the one putting the case in front of the grand jury. The defense is not up there to rebuke anything that the prosecutor says.
Right.
So,
what do you feel?
Yeah.
What do I feel, Silas? Oh God, I'm gonna say right now, as far as today, I'm feeling. Now, when I started this, I was feeling, self-defense or whatever. Because whenever I hear, domestic violence, it kind of, I'm not gonna say it triggers me. It's just, it puts me in the headspace of wanting to believe that this woman, was defending herself or whatever. But then when you start listening to evidence and you start, listening to 911 calls, and you start listening to the prosecutor, some things have to be questioned. Because some people saying she was calling the police before she even made it home just to set the whole thing up, and then others think that I feel like that was the right thing to do. Like even like I don't know if it was a setup or not, but her calling the cops before she even got home, knowing that this guy had threatened her, was the right thing to do. I do feel like though the cops, the police, they failed her. They failed her and they failed him. Because I don't think the situation was handled. I don't know if you saw the other lives that we did to this, but I think the cops failed them. I think later on, like maybe if he had left and come back and did something happen and things of that nature, it would be totally different. But with them not even separating them and things happening like they did, I feel like the cops absolutely failed both of them. And so, yeah, let's continue listening to this. It's only a few more minutes, and then we'll talk.
Shoulder and armpit is where that bullet entered and exited, and he was wearing heavy clothing. The medical examiner said he can't make any determination as to whether this was self-defense or not. Also on cross, he said that he didn't see any other abrasions on DeMonte Smith's body that would have suggested he was hit violently with a tire iron. We are next, when we get back from lunch, going to hear from an investigator who's going to play.
So this is the thing. If she hit him with the tire on, with the whatever the fuck that thing is, wouldn't there be evidence of that thing true? Don't you think?
He's stating that she hit him in the head. He told the cops when he came up, when he stumbled outside to the cops, that she hit me in the head and shot me. Okay.
But if she hit him in the head with a tire, wouldn't it be some evidence of that?
Oh yeah, you ain't unless she weakly threw it at his ass or weakly swung it on him. You're still going to be an abrasion. There's still going to be at least a tender area.
Maybe even a knot. Maybe even a knot.
Should be something. So he's saying, the coroner is saying he did not see anything abnormal or anything that stands out, is what he said.
Right.
Except for the, and then I guess, because again, his testimony would be what was the distance that she shot him at? Was she 2 feet away from him? Was she 1 foot away from him? Was it placed right against his chest? Was she 5 feet away from him when she shot him? So basically, that I don't understand why that testimony is not in there, because that's very important. Because the closer he is means he was running up on her. The angle of the shot is telling me that he ran up on her. So, why isn't that testimony? That should have been the first thing being said by the coroner, that the shot came at a distance of X amount of feet. He was 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot, or right on top of her.
Right.
When he was shot. I don't hear that yet. That's something I would like to hear. Whether how far was he? Was he across the room? what was the angle of the shot? Was she, was it down or up?
Mm-hmm.
Because the angle of the exiting wound means there was a downward projectile,
Mm-hmm.
or it hit something in his body to come out, because the bullet hole in his back was lower than the entrance wound. See what I'm saying? So
Right.
unless it struck a bone and angled itself out that way, was he lower than her? That's another thing that they look at.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to figure out, was this person on his knees? Was this person on the ground? Did the angle of the shot come out higher than the entrance wound? Which means she's shorter than him, and he was coming at it, and he was standing up when he was hit. All those things is what the coroner is supposed to be looking at.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. Let's listen.
He's the lead detective. He's going to play the police interview that Quenisha Johnson gave after she was arrested. And then we expect the state to rest. So the next voice we could hear is from the defense calling their witness, which could be Quenisha Johnson.
Wow. Okay. This is going to be a dramatic afternoon here and into tomorrow. Julia, Janae, thank you. Let's talk about what we know so far in this case with National Trial Attorney Michael Jaffer, and he's in Michigan, and in Hawaii, homicide detectives extraordinary, Mr. Phil Waters. Gentlemen, good afternoon to you. Phil, good morning to you there in Hawaii. The defense. How when you're investigating someone who's claiming self-defense, what are you looking for, and how much of it is matching a witness's description to the physical evidence? How do you know?
Well, good morning from the Big Highland, Ted. It's good to be back. I tell you, in any case, in any homicide case that I've ever been involved in, you enter with objectivity. And you have to let the scene talk to you. And then the evidence has to lead you where you need to be. So I don't ever show up at one of these types of scenes where self-defense is going to be an issue with any kind of predisposed to a conclusion. So it's like any other homicide. You have to listen to the witnesses, listen to the suspect, and just kind of get an overall picture of what happened there. Just because a person, in this particular case, just comes out talking about self-defense just before they go in and do what they do, that looks almost like we're trying to set up an alibi before she goes in and commits the act. So, there at the time and seeing where the evidence leads.
Michael, what's your take here? You have the situation where she calls police. She is concerned about her safety. That's why she calls multiple times, even as her kids call. And the responding officers say, all right, you go back in there. We can't do anything here. You people need to work it out. And she says, well, what if I shoot him in self-defense? It's in her mind already, a scenario that she thinks might happen. And sure enough, he's dead a few minutes later. She's claiming self-defense. How important is it for the state that she brought up self-defense before even going in there and shooting him?
This is the type of fact pattern that they would test you out in law school. They call it right down the middle, and it could go either way on the exam. When you submit your exam to your law school professor, whether you say she's guilty or whether you say she's innocent, you're right. Depending on the merits of your arguments and how you explain the case, that's a tough one. In my opinion, these fact patterns usually cleave towards her being acquitted because the burden of proof is very high for the prosecution. If you're a juror and you say, hey, she committed murder, you can justify that decision because telling the police officers he's going to kill me and then walking out to your car, grabbing weapons, when you could easily just have left the house. He's not your husband. You could leave the house.
Kids in the house. She's got a little.
It's not exactly the easiest situation. But if you're convincing yourself that she committed murder, you could say she could have cooled off. She could have left. Her life was not an imminent threat. She was upset, but her life was not an imminent threat at that point.
Wait a minute, hold on. How is her life? Wait a minute. How is her life not at an imminent threat when he made threats?
That's what
He
I was
didn't
about.
necessarily
Yes.
make threats to kill her, but he made threats to beat her ass on crib.
Exactly. And she knows his history.
She knows his history. And I guarantee you this ain't the first time.
Let's go back to the text message to his mother.
2 weeks before.
2 weeks before, he slammed me on my face. Right then, you should have shot his ass when he slammed you on your face.
But I'm just saying, does this guy know the case? Like you said, her life was not an imminent threat. That's a lie.
Well,
that's a lie.
Okay.
Because whether he was gonna beat her ass or kill her, even with beating her ass can lead to killing her.
What he's saying is just the perception of him saying those things doesn't normally mean it's going to happen. He's saying she had a way out. Okay. He's saying that she didn't have to go in that house. She could have refused. She could have got the kids. And she could have left.
Even though I feel the way, let me just say this. Even though I feel a way about the woman staying out all night into the next day, damn near half of the next day with her 3 kids with this guy, I do feel a way about that. But the fact of the matter is that woman had kids in the house. Her babies were in that house. So for somebody to say, oh, maybe she shouldn't have went back to the house. Maybe she shouldn't have gone. If he had threatened her, right, before she even got home, maybe she shouldn't have went home. That's kind of hard for a mother.
No, I don't think he was saying that. I think he was saying you could have packed up your kids and left.
Right. She could have, listen. Let me tell you something. Even saying you could have packed up your kids and left, the guy was threatening her. It was going to be an altercation. He was mad because she stayed out all night and half of the day. He was upset. So even saying, oh, she could have cutely, politely just went home, packed her kids up and left. It might not have been an option.
Yeah, he wasn't going to let her do that. But understand, with lethal force is the last resort. All options available must be taken prior to inducing lethal force. So if you have an option to run, you're supposed to run. If you have an option to leave the scene, you're supposed to leave the scene. If your option is not to go back to the scene, you're supposed to not go back to the scene. Lethal force and the taking of one's life is the last resort, and all options prior have failed.
So how do you determine if you're in that situation? How do you fathom? Right. Thank you. Because I'm getting a little upset. I'm getting a little perturbed. Because I've been in situations. Where you don't have time or the option to sit back and say, oh, did I do everything I needed to do before? It's just. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a busy morning for me. D-Truth talk. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay. So understand when it comes to lethal force, and that goes with police officers also. When it comes to lethal force, all other options had to have been determined to not be used. So if you have a taser, could you have tased him and stopped the person from committing whatever atrocious act would have come? Did you have to shoot him to stop him? All those things have to go forward and looked at. And what he was trying to say is, could she have left the house and not shot him? That's what he's saying. Was there other options that she could have had? Could she have told the police I just want him gone. I want him to leave. Now, sometimes the police are going to say, hey, that's a civil, that's a civil problem. Are you saying that you feel like you're in danger? Okay, then maybe they say it's time to go. You got to go, or they stay there for her to pack up her stuff to gather the children and leave, because she did ask for an escort. She just asked for an escort to go into the house. That was her initial call. The police did not do that. They weren't there for a escort to allow her to go in the house and get the things that she needs, because that's the right thing to do. Ladies, if you're feeling any kind of threat, you feel like anything may happen to you with harm, you ask for an escort. But you have to tell them, look, I just need you to escort me in this house so I can get my stuff and I can leave. Or I could gather my children up, get enough for them for a couple of days, and then I will ask for him to be removed from my home. And then ask the police, please look around and notice that nothing is broken. Nothing. My walls don't have holes in it. My dishes are not broke. I need you to walk around with me and see that my house is in one piece. Now, when I leave, and if I come back and my house don't look like this, you know who did it. That's one of the things that you say to the police when they're escorting you in your house. Okay, understand that is something you ask them to do. Please note that there's no holes in the walls, that all my appliances are in one piece, all my mirrors are not broke. Please look around and make sure you note it, that the house is not in disarray. So when I come back here and I ask him to leave and my house don't look like this, you know he fucked my house up. That's what they want you to do. Now understand, it's not a priority call to escort you. You can wait until the police get there that are not on more serious calls, and you just wait for them to come in. Now you do specify, look, I got children in that house and I don't trust him with those children right now. I need to get in there now. And then they will up the priority of the call. None of those things were done that day. That's what that man is saying. There was many other options other than you going in that house and facing him. I agree with you, Ramblin'. Separation should have been the first thing that happened. Now, they don't know about him slamming her on her face because she did not call the police on him.
Right.
She told his mother, which I don't know why she told his mother. Now, if that was my sister right there, and she had told me that little motherfucker had slammed her on his face, I would be there. And I tell you what, he'd probably wish he was dead after I'm done with him. Well, again, I think he was more or less, he's 5'6", he weighs 180 pounds. So basically, he probably hit on her and she hit on him and they went back and forth. But he is a man, and eventually he's going to get the best of her. But he said to her, I'm going to beat your ass when you get home. Now, here we are. She shot his ass. All right, go ahead, Trey. You back? Guess not.
All right, D2, this is a lot. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it in a case like this, is a lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas. I mean,
but you can't look at it that way. There's only 2 perspectives here. Yeah. Hers and his. That's it. Okay? What that man was just saying that royally pissed you off was the fact that was there other options that she could have taken before she took his life?
Hustling. Well, to me, honestly, the options were to call the cops, and she did that.
She did that, yes, which puts the ball in her court now. She did what she was supposed to do. She called the police, and the police did not protect her.
They didn't.
And that's the angle she needs to stay with. The police did not protect her, and I'm tired of this man putting his hands on me, even though I told you he's going to put his hands on me.
She knew what he was going to do because she knew him.
Look, Look, I would never go to a call, and if a woman says to me, he's going to put his hands on me, he's not staying. That man's not staying, or you're not staying. One of you's got to go. Okay?
Exactly.
Yep, where I need to take one of y'all.
Hey, Lala.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Where do I need, who is the, okay, a lot of times what the police would say is, who is the easiest to relocate right now? Does either one of you have a family member that I could take you to?
Should have been
either one of you have a place to go?
It should have been him. But honestly, it should have been him because she had the kids. You gonna snatch the kids about the home? They already gone through enough.
It's not what I'm asking. Who is the easiest to relocate?
Well,
can I take you and your kids somewhere? A friend's house, your family house? Do you have a place that you can grab a bag? I could take you there because I'm not leaving until one of you is gone. Now, if we can't decide if I can't decide which one of you is gonna go, I just arrest both of you, and you'll both be gone, and we'll have CPS down here to take your kids to be somewhere.
That's another thing. You know what I'm saying? CPS getting your kids. Come on now. And I gotta say this, and I've been trying to say this, but I keep getting these phone calls, and I apologize, y'all, because got some things going on with some appointments that we had. But listen, I've been in a situation. Let me tell you something. I know, people, when it comes to self-defense, you got to analyze this, you got to think about this, you got to weigh out your options, you got to do this and the third. But I'm going to just say this, like when you're in a domestic violence situation, D2, it's really, really hard. It's thank you, Lala. Thank you for supporting the channel, sweetie. I appreciate it. Y'all, please, listen, y'all. Y'all, please feel free to support the channel. Thank you, Lala. But it's really hard. And I don't know how many women in this chat that has been in these situations. I'm not going to even ask. But when you're in the situation, D-Truth, and I know you haven't been in a situation, but you've responded to situations, right? I know. So, but when you're in a situation, a domestic violence situation, where you have to make all these decisions, let me tell you something. The one thing that makes a domestic violence situation more intense is when you have to think about your kids. Let me tell you something. If that woman's kids was not at that house with that man, it would have been easy for her just not to go. It would have been easy for her to just stay away, right? But the fact that her kids were there, and even though I still say, you're a little sus to me, sis, being out all night, half of the next day, your kids were at the house with this man, but hey, we are, it just is what it is. But that woman was going to go back to that house because her kids was there. She was going to go back. And it's really, really hard to think about, logistics and all that and options and all this and that and the third when you're in the situation. It's really hard. And it's a lot. And I know with the incident that had happened 2 weeks ago, maybe she should have been put his ass out. I mean, because from the looks of things, from the outside looking in, she was the breadwinner. She was the one. She was the one. Putting his deadbeat ass out. Apparently he didn't work. Hell, he was there with the kids. But I'm just saying, like, and it's not, it's not easy for women to just leave all the time. I know a lot of people that hasn't experienced it, say you should have left, you should have put them out, you should have did this, you should have that. But when it comes to kids, it's just so, y'all listen, it's so complicated. This woman had a what? How old was the baby? 2 months. I'm just saying. This right here, this case right here is really taking a toll on me that I didn't know it would take. Because I really honestly can feel this woman's, feel it. I can feel what she was feeling when she knew she had to go back to that house, even though she know that man was gonna beat her ass. But she was gonna go back to that house because her kids were there. And I really, really hate that something like this happened with those kids being there. Those kids are never, ever going to be the same. Ever. Not the one that's testifying, and even the 2-month-old baby. You want to know why? Because his daddy is dead, and his mom killed him.
She'll have a new daddy for him soon.
So none of those kids are ever going to be the same again.
So Sonia says that she had made up her mind. Yes, she did. She made up her mind. If
she made up her mind that if he put her hands on her again,
yes,
she was going to. Of course, she made up her mind.
Yeah, she made up. When she went to that car and got that tire and iron and that gun, she made up her mind. If this motherfucker puts his hands on me, I'm gonna kill him.
And I don't blame him. I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me, please, Jesus. Please, Jesus, forgive me, because we're not supposed to do it. We're not supposed to do it. But I don't blame her.
You can whoop a dog so many times, and one day that dog is gonna bite you because he doesn't want to get whooped anymore, and he remembers those whoopings. Goes the same thing for women. How many times can you whoop a woman's ass before she realizes, I don't want to go through that anymore? I remember all of this. She's remembering it. And she made up her mind. If he puts his motherfucking hands on me, I'm going to shoot him.
Miss Lama, I won't be talking about that. In fact, I might, when I end this live, just because I got time today, I might, when I end this live, go right into my updates on those cases. But yeah, I did find out about that, Lala.
Oh, they found him?
Yes, I'm so upset. I'm so upset. Go ahead, Dietrich. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, but again, okay, she had a gun. He knew she had a gun. So why didn't he stop? See, these are things you have to look at.
You mean he knew she had a gun?
He knew she had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
He knows she has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew she had it on him or on her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that didn't stop him.
Right.
See, that's why I'm saying it's going to be very, very interesting to listen to the cross-examination of the coroner. He's going to be able to shed light on a lot more because the questions being asked to him are going to be distance. He says he can't rule either way, self-defense or murder. He can't rule either way. There's no specific evidence that would either say it was murder or say it was self-defense.
Right.
All he could testify is the distance the shot came from, which will be usually the splatter, the gunpowder splatter, the residue of the splatter, how far the distance is. What angle was the shot at? Was the guy on the ground? Was he crawling to her after he got hit in the head? Was he on his knees when she shot him? All those things are going to be looked at. And he couldn't come to a conclusion whether it was self-defense or the things he saw swayed him either way.
Facts.
And most the blood splatter, not so much because they can tell by the angle, the blood splatter, whatever. It's the gunpowder residue splatter is what they're going to look at. because that tells you the distance. They have the pistol and they know how far of a distance, and the it's usually the angle, meaning the circumference of the gunpowder, will tell you the distance. That's a big deal when you look at how far was he. Was he right on top of her? That means he rushed her. The angle of the bullet can also, because of his height, her height, the angle of the bullet can tell you whether he was running, because I believe he was kind of slumped over a little bit because the bullet goes in his chest. And if you look at where it comes down, you can't take that as totally accurate because the the lazy ass coroner could have just, oh, right about here, oh, right about there. But to me, when I looked at that autopsy photo, it looked like it went in on the crease of the chest, but it came out 3 or 4 vertebrae on the opposite side, on the same side, but down a little bit, which could mean he was leaned over when she shot him, meaning he was rushing at her. You know, the fact, also the fact is, did he disarm her from the crowbar? Did he did he disarm her with the crow? Did she have the crowbar and said, "Dude, I'm gonna hit you with this crowbar if you come near me. Leave me alone." You know,
and the fact that she even had the crowbar shows that maybe she wanted to just use the crowbar to keep him off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because see, if she just wanted to kill him, why even take the crowbar? Hell, just take the gun.
but that's the thing. She didn't initially pull out the gun. She had the crowbar. She brought both weapons inside with her. Did he disarm her of the crowbar, and then she backs up and pulls the gun out? So he disarms her of the crowbar. Now she's defenseless, and he's coming for her. You could just imagine what he was saying to her. If he said that on the phone with her aunt's on the phone, he said that while the police were there.
He don't give a damn.
You could
if
just
that man
imagine.
said on the phone and told that woman on the phone with her aunt, "I'm gonna beat your ass." That's a family member. You know, family members will get your ass for beating on their family member. Like he said it on the phone with his aunt.
Nope. But you know what? They're all their aunts had to do was make one phone. I don't care if I'm the other baby daddy. Call me. If I'm your other baby daddy, call me. I'm coming over to whoop his ass anyway, just because I want to. But I'm just saying.
That man didn't care. He didn't care.
He said that to her on the phone with her aunts, and they testified to that. That's in the report. That basically he said he was going to beat her ass when she got home. I don't understand. Why are the aunts?
He said it while they were on the phone with the aunt. He said it in text messages, and according to her, he said it while the police was there.
We're there. They didn't hear him, but she repeated it after he said it. Now, I'm kind of side-eyeing her aunts. That man just told you he's going to beat her ass. Why are you not on the way?
The aunt, you know what? I'm gonna say this though. The aunts may have been on the way because I remember somebody mentioning something about what the child told the aunt. So I don't know if the aunt, actually like show. I'm thinking though that the aunt was maybe out of town somewhere.
Yeah, I'm thinking they may not.
Because I think they said something about Philadelphia. I'm thinking Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and she's in Atlanta. So I'm thinking that.
Okay, so she moved from Philly.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that aunt was not even able to get to her like that.
So she did recently move from Philly. Matter of fact,
I think that aunt was in Philly. The truth, I think that aunt, and that's probably why he felt comfortable in doing it. He know the aunt couldn't get to her. You know
I want to say that the
thank you, Bush. Y'all had that cash out. What your girl?
That she used to live in Philly. Yeah, she had just moved from Philly because the job she had before the one she has now is based in Philly, and she used to work for a rave in like a media thing, Rave Entertainment, which is a movie place, and she used to work for them in Philadelphia.
Roman, I respect what you're saying, but you said she just don't show the signs of an abused woman. To me, they both seem like abusers. But this is the thing: 2 weeks before he had abused her. So what do you mean signs? What signs are you looking for? Like he has a history. That's a sign. He has a history, not just with her, but with somebody else. And he abused her 2 weeks before this. So what signs, Ramblin, are you looking for? Like what are the signs? Of course, we don't know their whole relationship. We don't know. We don't know their whole relationship, and we don't know his full history. But what other signs do you need? And then the main sign in this moment, at this point, is the fact that he said over and over and over again, "When you get home, I'm gonna beat your ass."
Well, okay. Here's the thing. The sign of an abused woman is she calls the police because she's scared.
And she knows that he's gonna make good on his point.
Yes, she called the police because she worried that he was going to finish what he said he was going to do. You see what I'm saying? So I believe that he's not. This isn't the only time. 2 weeks ago was not the only time. I'm thinking during her pregnancy, he was whooping her ass.
Lala said I didn't show the signs either, but I was physically and emotionally abused. Besides, no case is typical. Abuse can take. Thank you, Lala. Thank you.
And she's a strong woman. I could tell just her actions and the way she was speaking to the cop. She's a strong woman. She fights back. I'll guarantee it. And his little punk ass was probably getting his ass whooped sometimes too.
She wasn't playing that day. That's why you should keep your hands off people. Well, that I respect your opinion, Ramla. I respect that. Thank God he said someone else did it because he knew he was abusive when he happens. I miss you. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing about that. But here's one other thing about that. It doesn't. I don't know how long they've been in a relationship. She just moved to Atlanta prior to this. He's always been in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking she met him prior this in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
His domestic violence, family violence was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they were together. I think he whooped somebody. He whooped somebody else.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. I think he whooped somebody else's ass. I think the family violence was towards someone else, not her. But I'm pretty sure that he's been whooping on her the whole time. Because he was pretty quick to say, "I'm going to whoop your ass when you get home." That's pretty confident. And that means it's not the first time that he said that to her or probably acted on it. And the fact that she said, you know he's already in trouble. I don't want to get him in more trouble. That's what she told his mother. His mother. That's what she told his mother. You already know his situation, is what she said in the text message to his mother. Now, the mother should be saying to herself, what could I have done to prevent my son from being killed? Well, you could have went in there and took his ass out of there.
Well, the thing about it is that mother, she may have, if she knew about the situation that was happening that day, maybe she could have showed her. But one thing I know, once mamas raise these dudes, these guys, these boys, these men or whatever, I'm pretty sure don't know mama raised their son to beat on a woman. And the thing about it is he was a grown ass man and shouldn't have took his mama doing shit. He was supposed to know better that you don't put your hands on a woman. You don't want nobody beating on your mama. And even if the mama had to come there that day, that doesn't necessarily mean he would have not hit the woman or he would have left. Like I feel like any man that'll beat on a woman is not a man. He don't think like a man. He don't act like a man, and he just don't give a fuck. Because any man knows that a woman, has a disadvantage. You're a man and she's a woman. Even though you're a little man, you're still a man, and that's a woman, and you should never ever. And then this woman had your baby 2 months ago. Like honestly, where's the respect? Where's the this is the mother of my child?
Honestly, when I first saw that picture, I thought it was a stud.
Huh.
To be honest, and no offense to studs, I'm just saying when I first saw that picture of him,
Look like a whole. And I'm not gonna disrespect this man because he's passed on, and I honestly wish this hadn't happened. I honestly wish she didn't have to do what she did because the police failed both of them. I'm just saying.
and you know what? And the mother has a lawsuit.
Shit. Come on now.
The mother has a lawsuit. You didn't protect my son. You should have made my son leave, or you should have made her leave. Everything was pointing to that this was going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Look, in the training that police officers get, one of the things they tell you is to think outside the box, listen to what's not being said, and hear the things that are being said. You see what I'm saying? You heard her say, he's going to whoop my ass when I go in here. That right there should tell you, sir, I don't know if you're going to do it, but you know what we're going to do here? We're going to diffuse the situation. I'm not going to send you back in the house so you two can continue to fight when she feels like you're going to whoop his ass.
3 babies in the house. 3 babies in the house.
And basically, I would have told him, now, if I have to come back here and I find out you put your hands on that woman, I'm going to stick this motherfucking nightstick so far up your ass that you're going to be able to slap it with your tongue. Don't make me come back here for no bullshit. And then if I feel like he's not the one, that he ain't going to listen, come on, you going with me. I'm going to take you to the motherfucking McDonald's, and then I'm going to come back and talk to her. And then we're going to figure out what's going to happen from there. But you're not going to be here.
Right.
So get your motherfucking bag ready. Grab you some dollar. Matter of fact, I'll buy you a motherfucking McMuffin, bitch. But you're going to be at this McDonald's until I feel like she feels she's safe enough to allow you to come back.
Well, oh damn, I forgot. Let's listen to it's less than a minute, y'all, of what we was listening to. Let's listen to the end.
So that's why going out to the car and coming back in and then he dies is a big deal, because it's not that she came back in and then they had an altercation and then she shot him. She brought the weapons from her car that she used to kill him. So you could easily justify that she committed murder. Obviously, we have to see the balance of evidence that comes out in the trial, and when her testimony is going to be a big deal. She needs to testify now. But in my opinion, this one goes right down the middle.
And usually right down the middle means right out the door because of the reasonable doubt.
All right, so that's the end of that. I'm going to get into the next video.
But you heard what the man said, that she basically premeditatedly thought, I need to go get my gun. But she has to establish that that's what I always do. I never leave my gun in the car, ever. I bring my gun in, I lock it in the lockbox. This is what I do every time I come in from being out, or if I go somewhere and I bring my gun with me, I never leave it in the car. These are the things that she has to establish, that she didn't do anything that she doesn't normally do. And then they're going to say, well, why the tire iron? Because I thought the tire iron would discourage him from putting his hands on me. And if he put his hands on me, I was going to knock him upside with this tire iron.
Okay, the truth. I hope you got time today. I don't know what you got on your agenda, but we're gonna listen to now this video here actually is 41 minutes long, and it's actually her testimony. It's actually her testimony. It's 41 minutes long, and I did want to get into it. And then also, they've already, Court TV has already posted a wrap up of day 2, which would have been, I'm thinking, yesterday. So I'm gonna try to get all this in today because, like I said, I feel like this is probably gonna go to the jury today or tomorrow, like soon, like honestly soon. Um, let's get into now. This was posted 19 hours ago, which would have been last night, yesterday, sometime. And it's and she's actually testifying, y'all. So let me pull it up. And we're gonna get into it. All right, D Truth, make sure you stop me at any point. Can you hear me, D Truth? Can y'all hear me in the chat?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, I was muted and I was yelling at you the entire time.
Oh, that's okay. All right, so listen, y'all, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So make sure y'all please hit the like button. Thank you for the 51 people in the chat. I appreciate y'all supporting these lives. I do. Please hit the like button. I'm probably gonna get most of y'all through your work day if you at work listening, because this case has got me. It's got me, y'all. And the next case that we're gonna cover also got me too. And I'm not gonna go into what it is right now, but I will. But yeah, y'all hit the like button, please. Support the channel. Hit the Cash App is pinned in the comment section. So let's get into Quenisha. Quenisha is testifying, y'all.
And where do you currently reside?
In Atlanta, Georgia.
And where did you reside before that?
796 PM Lane in Atlanta, Georgia.
And tell me, Ms. Johnson, what do you do for a living?
I work with autistic kids. I'm a behavioral health technician.
And what did you do before that?
I was working 8 hours for hookah, doing hookah.
How long have you lived at your current address?
Since March of this year.
796 Eden Berry address, how long did you live there?
A year.
Do you remember when you moved into that home?
December 1st of 2021.
And was that a rental property or a house you owned?
It was a rental property.
And were you the primary person on the lease?
I was.
You were the one who signed the lease?
I am.
And were you the one who paid the rent every month at that property?
Yes, I was.
Were all the utilities and everything in your name?
Yes, they was.
Ms. Johnson, you know why you're here today?
I do.
I want to talk about the incident that brings you here today. I want to take you back to November 26, 27 of 2022, okay?
Okay.
Do you remember the night, November 26, 2022?
I do.
Tell us what happened that night.
I was home studying for my RBT certificate. I get a phone call from my girlfriend on a 3-way FaceTime call, inviting me to go out for one of their birthdays. I agree to go out. I get up, I prepare to get dressed to go outside. During our conversation, we was getting dressed, whatever. During our conversation, I let the mountain know where I was going. That was it. I got ready to go. I leave out. We go to one club.
Let's go back.
Okay.
Tell us approximately what time it is at night.
11, like 10 or 11.
About 11 o'clock at night on November 26th.
Correct.
And DeMonte's at the house with you?
He was.
And what about your kids?
They were there as well.
And where were they at that point?
My 2 daughters were asleep in their room, and my newborn was with DeMonte.
Was the newborn asleep at that point?
She was.
Was she sleeping in the crib?
She was.
And so you get the call 11 o'clock at night, you get dressed, you let DeMonte know where you're going. What happens after that?
I leave to go out. We go to one club.
What was the name of the club?
Zari.
Okay.
We're there, just partying, leave that club around 2, go to the 8th hour, which is the 8th hour that I was working at.
And what's the name of the place you were working?
It's called Taste.
Okay.
We get there, we're there for about an hour. My girlfriends and another coworker gets into an altercation. I go to the bathroom, I communicate the altercation with DeMonte. We stay for a little bit longer. They get to the altercation very occurred. They now about to fight. We leave the 8th hour.
Let's go back. About what time is this when you communicate with DeMonte about the altercation?
Yeah, this is about 4.
Okay. And when you say communicate, was it a text message or a phone call?
I called him. I went to the bathroom and called him.
And was he up at 4 a.m.?
He was.
Okay. And you actually talked to him?
I did.
And then what happens after that?
He advised me that he was going to send someone to make sure I was okay. I let him know I was okay. It wasn't me that was in a fight with my girlfriends, and they were leaving. And I was sharing my location with him.
And what did you do next?
I shared my location with him. Go gas station because my car needed gas to figure out where we were going to go next. Because I didn't want to go home.
Now, tell us, what was your relationship to DeMonte at this time?
He was my baby father.
Okay. Was he living with you at this time?
He was staying there. He had him living there.
Tell me what you mean by staying.
So when I say staying, so let me get back to when I had my daughter, because that's how it leads up to him staying there. So he was incarcerated. He got incarcerated in August. I got a phone call back in August of his incarceration. I helped him get out or whatever. And when he gets out late September, he expressed that he had nowhere to go. That the house that he was staying to prior to getting incarcerated, he couldn't stay there no more because his friend's mom was tripping, is what he said. I had the baby. I did allow him to come, to be with the baby and stay there since he had nowhere to go.
And while you're out that particular night, did you have anything to drink?
I did.
What did you drink?
Casamigos.
How much?
Probably like 2 or 3 shots.
And was that at the first place or the second place?
That was at the first place.
And did you have anything to drink at the second location?
I did.
So after you let him know the altercation at the second location, tell him you'll drop the location, where do you go next? What happens next?
We go to an hour called Future.
Now, is that the spot you worked at?
No, I worked at Taste. The Future is a different hour.
And about what time is it now?
It's about 6, maybe roughly 7.
So this is an after hours spot. Okay. And do you have your phone on you?
I do.
Tell us what happens next.
Upon arriving to Taste, I leave. I have 2 phones. I left one phone in the car because it has an audio malfunction. I can't hear out of it. I take my personal phone inside the club with me. I get there. I'm smoking hookah. My phone dies while I'm in there. Once my phone dies, I leave.
Why do you have 2 phones?
Because I want to close the night.
Okay. And is one phone business and one phone personal?
Correct.
So you left your business phone in your car and took your personal phone inside?
Yes.
And you said while you were in there, your phone died?
Yes.
Do you remember what time or around what time you realized that your phone had died?
I don't, because it was dead.
But at some point, you realize your phone is dead, and is that when you leave the club?
Yes.
All right. Tell us what happens after that.
I leave the club. I go back to my car. I immediately put my phone on the charger.
What time is it when you actually realize what time is it? What time is it? Or around what time is it?
around 9 something.
Okay. And tell us what happens next.
My phone cuts on. I'm seeing the text messages from my aunts, a few text messages from Dolo. I open my aunt's text messages, the first ones on there. As I'm reading the messages, my aunt's call. I answer the phone call. Is my aunt.
What's Rochelle's last name?
Noel.
And what's Andrea's last name?
That's we're all in through right now. Andrea's hysterical. She's, where the F have you been? Dolo said you was in a fight. I've been calling hospitals, police departments. I know where I was and everything was okay. As I'm letting them know that everything's okay, Rochelle adds Dolo into the Demonte into the phone call.
So Rochelle, so now it's you on the phone, your aunt Rochelle Newell, your aunt Andrea Gonzalez, and then Rochelle adds Demonte Smith onto the phone.
Yes.
And what happens next?
Demonte gets on the phone. He gets on there very. Sorry, connect. Where the F you been at? You tripping? You think I'm a lame? I told him, I said, you know where I've been at, you have my location. He then says, when you get here, I'm gonna meet you A. And he's up.
And both your aunts were on the phone.
Yes.
And this happened while all four of you are on.
Yes.
And then he hangs up.
Yes.
Tell us what happens after that.
After he hangs up, my aunt is now against her. I know he just said it. I tell her, don't worry about it, I'm gonna call the police. I grab my business phone and I immediately call 911.
Okay. And what happens next?
I call 911, I let them know that I'm en route to my home, that I just received a verbal and the text, at the time I see the text message of him texting me that he was gonna beat my ASS on crib. I did let them know I'm receiving verbal and text messages threats stating that I'm gonna get beaten when I get home by my boyfriend. Well, I told him at the time my boyfriend, and that I was scared to go home and I needed authorities to help me. Yes, because not even 2 weeks ago, he followed through with his threats before.
Okay. When you say he followed through with his threats, what do you mean?
Around 2 weeks ago, prior to the 26th, I was working at the Taste restaurant at the hour, and he threatened to beat my ASS again. When I came in the house, he was coming down the steps and he then slammed me on my face.
Okay. When you say Judge made the witness step down, yes. I want you to show us what happened prior to that. You can use me.
So I'm coming in the house. I come out at first time.
Ms. Johnson, you need to speak up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm coming in the house. As I come in the house, I'm thinking like he's hiding behind the door. I look behind the door. He wasn't behind the door. He was actually coming down the steps. He came. Right. So he's coming down the steps. When I walked in the door, he went like this, came on my face, and he still has my coat. He's like this, like this. He's like saying stuff to me. I start to cry. Once I start crying, he then just goes and I tell him he has to go.
Yeah, you can go back there. And Ms. Johnson, after that incident, so he slams you on your face, is over you, shaking you. And when did he stop?
When I began to cry.
And did you call police?
I did.
What did you do next?
I asked him to leave. I went upstairs and I contacted his mom, or tried to contact his mom.
I'm going to show her, Your Honor, what's marked as defense. Do you recognize that text message exchange?
I do.
And who was that text message exchange between?
Myself and Demonte's mother.
And is that text message the same message you sent Demonte's mother the day that he slammed you on your face?
Yes.
Has anything been changed?
So to answer your question, Ryan, they're showing the text messages now. They're showing the text messages now. I don't know if they're gonna show it to the public. If I see them, I'll let y'all see them.
Altered about it at all?
No.
Is it in the same or similar condition as when you sent that text message?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time we will move to admit Defense Exhibit 1, text message between Ms. Johnson and Demonte's mother into evidence.
Yes, Judge. New approach.
All right, so they're approaching, and they don't want to put the text message into record.
Hey, fine. Yeah, it's a silence because they have to approach the bench because, of course, the defense the prosecutor objected to them showing the text messages. Why, I don't know. But if you want the truth, you need to see that.
Well, he's saying that he doesn't want it in because it may influence the jury to believe that this is not the only time he's whooped her ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they're going to object, but he should have objected when he brought it up.
And the thing about it is, like, I know this stuff has to play out in court, but all this evidence that they try to, put into evidence, that they have that stuff way before court starts. Like, they can object.
Did they show the text message?
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen a visual. I see them looking at computer monitors, so I'm thinking it's on the computer, but I haven't seen an image. But if I see the image,
then what's the objection? The jury already saw it. It should have been objected when he brought it up.
Yeah, but they're objecting to him putting them into evidence.
Yes, but again, the jury's already seen it. So what difference does it make whether it's in evidence or not?
Exactly. That's why I said a lot of this stuff that happen in the courtrooms, I just don't get. It's just a whole lot of,
Well, I understand because say there's say we're gonna look at this 5 years from now, that won't be in there. That won't be in there. There'll be discussions of it, but I don't think he read it. They just showed it, right? He didn't read it. I didn't hear him say.
Still talking, so I don't know if they're gonna.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he hasn't read it yet.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna read it or not because I paused it. Well, yeah, I paused it, so I don't know. Maybe they'll read it if it's allowed as evidence.
Yes, if it's entered into evidence, he will read it out loud. So the jury may not have seen it already.
Yeah, no, because I don't think the jury has because they're looking at the text messages on a lap like a computer in front of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the jury doesn't know what he's talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go, yeah. And it's quiet right now because. Okay, here we go.
Still with me, Ted Spalding. What they're doing right now as you're watching along with us is trying to get an exhibit in, marking that so you're not missing any of her testimony. But Ted, really smart move by the defense. The defense attorney, when we could hear her and not see her, here's what we know from the field producer notes there in the courtroom. And that is she got out of the witness stand. She went before the jury box and she demonstrated with her attorney what she says happened when Michael Sterling, that's her attorney, when the victim in the case slammed her and she threw him to the ground, demonstrating that. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it is, especially getting right up close to the jury. You want the jury to feel as if they're in that moment. And so obviously we didn't get to see exactly how she did it and all of that, but hopefully she was prepared for it because obviously the jury's going to be looking at her almost every second.
Yeah.
What her reaction is. Bring that jury into that emotional aspect of it. This what this whole case is about.
It is, and demonstrative aids I always preach about they should be used more than they are, but this is a great one. We can see their live shot, so you see what they're doing. So right now she's testifying about an incident 2 weeks before the shooting occurred, and she's saying that's when the defendant slammed her on the ground. She called the police. She then sent a text to DeMonte's mother. That's what they're discussing right now. We'll see if that's allowed in or not. But again, I think the defense.
So did this woman just say when he slammed her that night, she called the police?
She said she didn't call the police because
Okay,
she
let me
testified
rewind.
a couple minutes. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me rewind.
Yeah, she says she didn't call the police. She texted his mother.
All right, let's listen.
And all of that, but hopefully she was prepared for it because obviously the jury's going to be looking at her almost every second.
Yeah.
What her reaction is, all of that. And brilliant move, like you said, you want to bring that jury into that emotional aspect of it. This what this whole case is about.
It is, and demonstrative aids, I always preach about they should be used more than they are, but this is a great one. We can see their live shot. So you see what they're doing, talking to the judge. You're not missing testimony. But the other thing I have to ask you about, so right now she's testifying about an incident 2 weeks before the shooting occurred, and she's saying that's when the defendant slammed her on the ground. She called the police. She then sent a text to DeMonte.
Called the police. She then sent a text.
Okay, so this woman is saying it, but I remember her saying, I don't want to call the police because he's already in trouble.
No. She said that she didn't want, when she called the police this last time, she didn't want to call the police because she didn't want to get him in further trouble. But this woman is saying that when that incident from the 2 weeks ago where he slammed her, she did call the police.
I don't see anything. Let me double check. But I don't see anything.
I mean, just because she called the police don't mean any charges were filed or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if they didn't charge him.
Charges.
Yeah, if they didn't charge him.
So if they didn't charge him, you wouldn't see it. But this woman is saying that she did call the police and then she texted his mom. Miss Ann, that's not okay. I'm gonna play it again. I could be hearing something that I just want to hear, but I'm gonna play it again because she said, and then she texted his mom. So let me play it again.
She did say that. She called the police.
All right, listen.
You want the jury to feel as if they're in that moment. And so obviously we didn't get to see exactly how she did it and all of that, but hopefully she was prepared for it because obviously the jury's going to be looking at her almost every second.
Yeah.
What her reaction is, all of that. And brilliant move, like you said, you want to bring that jury into that emotional aspect of it. This what this whole case is about.
It is, and demonstrative aids, I always preach about they should be used more than they are, but this is a great one. We can see their live shot. So you see what they're doing, talking to the judge. You're not missing testimony. But the other thing I have to ask you about, so right now she's testifying about an incident 2 weeks before the shooting occurred, and she's saying that's when the defendant slammed her on the ground. She called the police. She then sent a text to
She said it, y'all. She said it. She called the police. She then sent a text to the mom. So she did. So what I'm thinking, y'all, as far as these cops are concerned, let's get back to that. I'm thinking that there were several calls to that house. Like this was like, I don't want to say like a norm, but the police was called to that. And sometimes when police go to a house, respond to a call at a house about domestic violence, like more than once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, maybe. I don't know. I think maybe sometimes they get desensitized and they be like, oh, they just at it again. You know, they just at it again. I think sometimes the police feel like they're just at it again. We're just coming out here to diffuse it, or whatever. They're gonna stay together. They ain't gonna never leave each other. This shit is gonna continue, and so that's just what it is. And they didn't ever think that it would turn. I don't know, but that woman said that she called the police when he slammed her 2 weeks prior to him being killed. What do you think about that, D-Truth?
Well, it's big because it shows that he has a history of it. And then if they bring up that the reason I didn't want to call the police at the time was because he was already in trouble for that.
This is getting me. Oh my God. Okay, let's listen, y'all. It's oh yeah, let's listen.
Monte's mother. That's what they're discussing right now. We'll see if that's allowed in or not. But again, I think the defense is trying to say this is her mindset. She was afraid of him. She was in reasonable fear because of the way he had abused her or treated her in the past.
That's right. They're building brick by brick that wall. So this is one of the incidents, as we heard earlier, that they're going to get to other.
So Ms. Ann, you're saying she testified that she didn't call the police.
I remember something about she said to the mother, I didn't want to call the police because he was already in trouble.
I thought she said that to the cops in this incident, but I could be mistaken. So, I could be mistaken. So, Ms. Ann, you're saying in this video that I'm playing right now, when she was testifying, she said she didn't? Because I'll rewind that. I don't want to rewind it, but I will. All right, so let's listen, y'all.
With maybe a police report, we'll see what gets into evidence there. She'll be able to testify to those things. So you're building this wall with these bricks to show, look at all these different instances that are creating this mindset that she has going into this event in the early hours of this day where he loses his life. So great move by them.
Let me ask you this, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying if I were on the jury, I would question if you were this fearful of this man who is the child, one of the children's fathers, why would you leave again all four of your children with him in the home 2 weeks after this happened and he slammed her to the ground, and after we know there was also an incident between him and her 12-year-old? So is the jury going to
see? First of all, it was,
where'd that come from?
See, now I'm starting to believe Miss Ann, which I believe Miss Ann because this woman is misquoting his 3 kids. And I get it. I get what she's thinking, though. I get it because I think I said it either today or yesterday. I don't remember. But I do question, her leaving the babies with him. Not just leaving the babies with him, period, but leaving the babies with him all night and you stand out half for the next day. I do question that, but that's not for me to judge or anything like that. And I don't even know about the 12-year-old incident. Maybe we'll hear about it, Melissa. But I do question that as well, especially if you know that you stand out all night and half of the next day is going to cause this type of ruckus, right? So I do question that as well as a mom. Lala said the female that murdered my father was eventually acquitted because she made the claim that she was in fear of her life. She said he tried to stab her with scissors. She shot him in the mouth. Oh God, Lala. I'm sorry, sweetie. Yeah, she's talking about an incident with the 12-year-old. We don't know anything about that, right? Be true?
Well, what's the incident? Did they get into an argument? I'd love to know what the
let me let her keep talking because I don't know about that. Hold on.
Life.
Judging, I'm just saying if I were on the jury, I would question if you were this fearful of this man who is the child, one of the children's fathers, why would you leave again all four of your children with him in the home 2 weeks after this happened and he slammed her to the ground, and after we know there was also an incident between him and her 12-year-old? So is the jury going to think about that and say, this doesn't make sense? Why would she even leave him there in the first place?
Yes, absolutely. And the prosecutor is going to remind them of those things. So all we're hearing right now is obviously the defense side. So it sounds real bad, but the prosecutor is going to.
We're wondering with the redaction is it without the text. Ms. Johnson, what's the date on that text message?
Sunday, November 13th, 2022.
And that text message was to Mr. DeMonte Smith's mother?
Yes.
Tell us what you told Mr. Smith's mother.
That DeMonte had slammed me on my face, on the ground, on my face, and I was trying not to take it too far.
And why don't you read the text message exactly for us, just the one you sent?
DeMonte just slammed me to the ground on my face. I'm trying not to take this too far in one situation. Can you please call and have him take a walk and give me some space? bring him on, please.
And this was right after the incident you just showed us.
Immediately after.
And when you text his mom, I know his situation, what did you mean?
Him just getting released from jail.
And we said I didn't want to take.
Okay, so yeah. So she did tell the mom she didn't want to call the cops because of his situation, which means he was just released from jail. The situation was he was just released from jail.
That's what she said, though. She said he just got released from jail, and she let him stay there after being released from jail.
Well, her saying she didn't want to call the cops because of his situation, does that mean she didn't call, though? Maybe we should listen more to see, but I mean, her telling the mom, look, I don't want to call the police. Can you talk to him because I know his situation, he just got out of jail, and I don't want to call the cops. But does that mean she did not call the cops, though?
Now, did she verify that it was with another person?
What do you mean, him being in jail?
Yeah, the incident.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know he was in jail for. I mean,
the family.
So did she specify was?
Yes, because remember I said he just got released. He just got picked up.
And then I wish she's mumbling. Her testimony is like she doesn't really open up.
You gonna leave my future baby mama alone, okay?
I say Mike asked her, did she call the cops? She said, and I'm going with Miss Ann because that lady, she's not credible for me. She sat up there and said the woman had 4 kids, and she don't know. Me neither, E. Bruce. I'm going back and forth, girl. It's really hard. It's really a lot because listen. I don't want to seem biased. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep it, based on the facts, and I don't want to seem biased because I've experienced stuff like this personally. But I'm with you, E. Bruce. I'm just I don't know. I would like to know.
Y'all gonna leave my. Y'all gonna leave my future baby mama alone.
Who is the hell is your future baby mama? That woman?
That woman. She's my future baby mama.
Well, you don't have to be a pen pal because she might be going to prison.
No, make sure. If I was on that jury, she'd already be out.
Oh, God. You had been on the grand jury, she wouldn't have got indicted. Huh?
No, she'd never got indicted. I'd have slapped everybody who said she did.
Oh, God. Jesus, the violence. Oh, my God. All right, let's
Too far. What did you mean?
11:30 p.m. be arrested.
So on the night of November, I guess the morning, so that happened, what was the date again? Of November 27th, when you see these text messages and on the phone with your aunt to get these verbal threats, is that why you took it so serious?
Absolutely.
And you called 911. And tell us what happens after you call 911.
When I called 911 and let them know that I was receiving threats verbally and through text messages, I asked them to escort me home because I was scared for my life. I did let them know that he did prior to this threat, threatened me prior to this and followed through with it. He followed through with his threat prior. They told me that they dispatched someone to come out
and then what happened after that?
And then minutes later, I get a call from Oscar Amy on her personal phone. I answered. She lets me know that she was at my location, meaning at my home. I tell her that I'm en route. She asks me to give her basically like a summary of what's going on. I inform her that I was receiving threats from my baby father and that he had prior to this incident put his hands on me. She asked me if he lives with me. I told her that he just got out of jail and that he stays there. And she tells me that she'll be there, or she'll see when I get there, basically.
Okay. And about how far were you from your house when you talked to, so you talked to 911 and then you talked to Officer Laney directly. And then about how far were you from your house when you talked to Officer Laney?
Probably about 15 minutes ago.
Okay. And then tell us what happens. And where are you still on the phone with your aunts at this time? Were both of them on the phone, Rochelle and Andrea? And then tell us what happens after that.
After Miss also Amy disconnects, she calls back a couple minutes later telling me that she had been dispatched to another situation that she had to attend to that and she let them know to call 911 again to dispatch and let them know that she was to come back out and that I was told to call to give her dispatch back.
And so she tells you she's been dispatched again. When you get close, just call again.
Yes.
And what did you do?
When I got closer, I called again.
Did you call her personal phone directly? Or?
I called 911.
Okay. And what happened?
I called 911, let them know that I was closer. I let them know that I was in the area and that I didn't go to the house. And I was told by an officer that had already came out to call 911 again to have her dispatch, and that she would be fairly close, and that to wait for her to come in.
And what did you do?
I waited.
And where were you waiting at?
Outside of across by my doorstep.
And tell us what happens after that.
I waited a little longer, and then I called again. And when I called again, I let them know that I had been waiting. At this time, I didn't know how long I was waiting. I had dozed off for a second. So when I called back, I let them know, or I say that I've been waiting for about an hour. The dispatcher gets my information. He informs me that he do see the calls, the prior calls, and that someone was on their way. And then so just for the route.
Okay. When you doze off, your aunt still on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you talked to 911 once. They dispatched Officer Lamy. You talked to Officer Lamy, explained the situation when she was there waiting for you. You talked to her again when she went to dispatch somewhere else. You called 911 again when you got there. You fell asleep for a while and called 911 again.
I did.
And they said they would dispatch somebody.
They did.
And then what happened after that?
And when I was on phone my answer, I didn't look at my alarm system, I looked at the cameras. I didn't notice that the camera that was in my bedroom had been turned around. So I didn't trigger my alarm system, my other alarm system to have their dispatcher reach out to me and ask me if I needed authorities.
And did your alarm, did that work?
It did.
And what happened?
The dispatcher called me, asked me if I needed assistance. I did inform her that I wanted her to dispatch police officers and that I needed to be escorted into my home.
Okay. And then approximately how much longer did you wait for someone to be dispatched?
I called again after that. That's when I talked to the female officer. Okay. Told her about my kids being in the home and that I was concerned about the well-being. I didn't know what was going on in my home and that Devontae was mad and I didn't know if my kids were okay or not. Yeah.
Okay. And what happens after that?
I'll leave from the parking spot that I was at and leave out of leave out of the area to flag down a police officer.
And did you find the police officer to flag down?
I did.
And who was that?
Officer Cross was parked. I flagged him down and asked him to leave on me.
Okay. And did he follow you back?
He did.
And tell us what happens after that.
He followed me back. We arrived at my home. I got out of the car and gets out his car. He asked me, tell him about the text. I told him I was receiving threatening text messages. He knocks on the door. He asks him to come out. He doesn't. I didn't inform him that I had a fire. He asked me if there were any weapons.
Somebody get juice fruit out of my chat. Please. If I got a mile available. Get juicy fruit, aka CMA drunk ass up out of my chat. If you don't mind. Thank you.
I tell him, no, there isn't. If anything, it's a kitchen. He's using a kitchen utensil. I have my firearm on me. he asked me to place my firearm in the car. I had to do so. At this point, also Amy is woken up. They asked me to unlock the door and step back. I did so.
Can I ask you, Ms. Johnson, why did you wait so long for authorities to escort you or be with you at the house?
Because I was scared to enter.
Now, tell us what happens after that. When you unlock the door, Officer Laney asked DeMonte to come out. Tell us what happens next.
It takes him a while to come out. He then comes out with my daughter, my newborn, in his arms.
Now, you were showing Officer Laney surveillance video of what was happening inside the house at some point.
All right. She is now talking about what happened at the date in question, 27th of November. And you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to hit the pause button, so we'll get back to the testimony. She starts to talk about when she got into mama mode. Remember, 4 kids in the house with DeMonte. You're watching Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
So you just going to keep misquoting, lady. You just going to keep misquoting. I thought she had 3 kids. You just going to keep misquoting? Okay. All right.
I started hearing these stories.
Let me fast forward to the right, Ramley.
Johnson. She stands accused of fatally shooting her boyfriend. Came to the couple's home because of a domestic violence complaint made by the defendant herself. She's claiming self-defense. She now has that opportunity. She's telling the jury in her own words what happened on that fateful night. We're going to go right back in where we left off.
I'm sorry, Officer Cross. What were you showing him?
I was showing him moving around at home.
Was it DeMonte moving around? Could you tell from the surveillance? And did he have the baby in his arms when he was moving around in the home?
No, I didn't.
But when the officer, when you unlocked the door and Officer Laney asked him to come out, he came out with the 2 months.
He did.
And approximately what time is it, if you remember?
I don't.
Okay. And so when he comes out, what's going through your mind? What happens?
I usually go until parents move of the well-being of my daughter being outside. It's 2 months, head naked, sweater diaper, no head, and 6 degree weather in November.
And what happens after that?
I asked him, to put my daughter in home.
And did Officer Krause instruct Mr. Smith to give you your daughter so you could take her in the house?
He does.
And did he follow the officer's instructions?
He did.
Now, tell us what happens between you and DeMonte while the officers are there.
After I asked for him to be my baby so I could take her in the house, he then goes to say, BICC, just my baby too. You wasn't worried about her, you was out all night being a dad, and as a man, he just started to become disrespectful. I responded to the disrespect, telling him that his name isn't on the birth certificate and said he's not his daughter. He calls me a stripper, I call him broke.
Hold up. Hold up.
I was so scared.
Hold up.
So,
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Go ahead.
I knew it because I kept seeing this thing pop up for her about entertainment. She's a stripper.
Wait a minute, what?
She's a stripper.
I gotta rewind that back, y'all.
He called her a stripper. He called me a stripper, and I called him a broke ass.
What? Hold on.
Rewind it. She says he called me a stripper and I called him a broke ass. Maybe she has an OnlyFans. Don't think I ain't gonna go look for it. I'm gonna research the shit out of that. If she got an OnlyFans, I'm in the front motherfucking row. And she said something about the club she works at. I couldn't quite get the name of the club she works at when she said it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch the name because when she said the name of it, I was like, "Is that I couldn't figure out what but it sounded like a strip club. And entertainment keeps coming up on everything. Everything pops up on her. I did a financial on her, and entertainment kept coming up. And in Philadelphia, it says she worked for Rave Entertainment, which at the time I thought was the movie theater, but it may not have been. And we got to remember where she is, Atlanta.
Yep, stripper island.
That's right. I'm moving. I'm packing my shit up right now. I'm moving to Atlanta. I'm just saying. I believe she is a stripper. She looked like she could be a stripper.
We're not gonna go by the looks now, just because
I would throw all my money at that woman. I'm just saying. But again, she says, and you gotta listen, back it up a little bit. She says he called me a stripper, and I called him a broke ass. I heard it. I got my headsets all the way to pick up.
Boy, she a killer and you talking about smashing.
Hey, I'm through it. I'm there. I'm okay with that. Me too.
Write it in jail and marry it in. Be a pen pal.
We got something in common. I'm just saying.
All right, I'm gonna listen to that again, y'all.
Please do.
Disrespectful. After I asked for him to be my baby so I could take her in the house, he wasn't worried about her. He was out all night being a dad, and as a man, he just stepped into home disrespectful. I responded to his disrespect, telling him that his name is him on the birth certificate and saying he's not his daughter. I called him a stripper. I called him broke.
Did you hear it?
Damn it, I heard it.
Did you hear it? He called me a stripper.
I called him broke.
Yes. Thank you. My future baby mama's a stripper. She getting off on this shit.
Lord have mercy. Okay. All right. Let's listen.
Now, were you scared at that point?
I was still scared, but I felt like I was able to respond to his disrespect.
Why was that?
Because if I stood there and I didn't think that they would leave us alone.
And you had put your firearm in the car.
I did.
Can I ask you, you had your firearm on you when he was threatening you. You could have just gone to your house with your firearm. Why would you call police?
Because I never would have thought it. I called police to protect me. I was never thinking of using my firearm at all.
So tell us what happens after. So you and him argue back and forth. We've all seen it. You've been here through the trial. We've all seen it. And then tell us what happens as the argument is ensuing and police officers are about to leave. Tell us what happens.
Officer Lamy asked me a question. She asked me, she's telling me his days here. She's asking me, how does something about him staying there. And I told her and explained to her that he had just got out of the Cape County jail and that I was allowing him to stay there. He has no residence there. Let her know that his name is not on the lease, nothing. As I'm telling her that she's trying to tell me something else. So it appeared that I was like talking over her, but I was just finishing my explanation of him not having residency there is for them, asking them to remove him from the household. Officer Frost then tells me to go back inside with the baby. He goes inside. I'm standing in the threshold of the doorway. As he walks past me, he tells me when the cops leave, he's gonna be my ass.
And were you on the phone with someone?
I never got off the phone. My ass was on the phone this time.
Were both of them on the phone?
Yes, they were.
And that's Rochelle knew Andrea Gonzalez.
Yes.
And he says, when the cops leave, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yes.
And do you inform the cops of what he's just said?
Immediately.
And what do they do? What's their response?
I asked them, I said, did y'all just hear him? I repeated what he just said. They didn't say, I don't believe they said anything.
And what happens after that?
I asked, continuing to speak as of, okay, so what am I to do in a matter of defending myself? I didn't say if I shoot him out of self-defense because he keeps putting his hands on me, then I held accountable.
And what's the response?
Also, then he says, if you do that, just make sure you're able to articulate it in court.
And what do the officers? And DeMonte's in the house.
Yes.
And they leave you at the house.
Yes.
Tell us what happens after that.
In the midst of them walking off and me being in the vestibule of my doorway, my dogs had got out. My dogs walked down the street, running down the street. My Nala is now in the doorway, helped me get the dogs back in the home. Tended to go up the street to get my dogs, I bring them back. I advised my dogs to go in the house prior to going inside my home. I do go to my car to retrieve my firearm and a tie rod.
I mean, I honestly gotta apologize because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at this chick and trying to read her lips or whatever, and I'm not understanding most of what she's saying. Like, I don't even understand how they in the courtroom can understand what she's saying. She's mumbling. She's literally mumbling into the mic, and I don't understand why. Maybe they can understand her better. I don't know, but I can't. It's very hard for me to understand what she's saying. So I apologize, y'all, but let's listen.
Johnson, you said that you were licensed to carry.
I am.
Tell us what it means to be licensed to carry.
To be able to hold a firearm and force defense areas like a safety precaution.
What are requirements you had to go through to obtain a license to carry?
FBI clearance.
Anything else?
No, Georgia didn't. Georgia don't. You don't need to permit a license to carry in the state of Georgia. Well, background check.
Okay. So you go outside to get your dogs run outside. You go outside to get your dogs. And while you're outside, you go to your car and you grab your firearm. Where do you put your firearm?
In my right pants pocket.
And you grab anything else?
Tie rod.
Okay. And when you say a tie, how big is it? How thick is it?
It's not really that thick. It's probably about this thick and probably about this long.
Now, why did you grab your firearm and the tie rod?
I grabbed my firearm because my firearm never stays in the car. It goes into my home in a lockbox.
Approaching the top of the hour. Thanks to Ted Spalding again for joining us this hour. Michael Ayala joining me up next. And guess what? You don't want to miss this because we will see the defendant do another reenactment before the jury, this time of how she confronts DeMonte. Stay tuned. Court TV, your front row seat to justice. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ashley Wilcox.
And I'm Michael Ayala, and we're both here today giving you your front row seat to justice.
Did you call me?
No, I'm on mute. I didn't call you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ordering some thigh-high boots for her right now.
Oh, damn Reenactment, man. Okay, D2. All right.
We do want to get straight. Defendant Quanisha Johnson.
And she's been testifying about exactly what happened not only on the night of the shooting, but 2 weeks prior when she claims DeMonte slammed her in the face. Now, she demonstrated that for the jury, and as I understand it, we may see her demonstrate something else. Let's get you right back in where we left off.
And after you grab it, put your dogs in the house, tell us what happens after that.
I go in the home, my daughters are downstairs in the living room area. I hand both of them home. I tell them what I had to home. I hand Marie was home. I tell them to go to the cops, let them know they're scared.
Why did you give your daughters a phone? So you contacted 911 multiple times. Police have responded. They've been at the scene. You've talked to them. Now you have your daughters calling 911. Why do you have your daughters calling 911?
Because the cops didn't hear from me, so I felt like they would hear from my child.
And you tell both of them to call now.
I did.
And what do you do next?
I didn't go upstairs to retrieve my 2-month-old baby.
That's the youngest baby. You go upstairs to get the 2-month-old.
Yes.
And you got the tire iron in your hand?
I do.
All right, then tell us what happens next.
I get upstairs. As I get to the top of the steps, DeMonte is coming out of the bedroom. I then pick into the hallway. He's coming there and he's telling me, police ASB for calling the cops. He says, I'm gonna beat you at 8 again when the cops leave. I tell him if you hit me, I show him the tire. I said, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you with this.
Will you step down for us, Ms. Johnson? Just want to be able to get a visual. Let's say, I'm you. I got the tie rod in my hand. You come up the stairs and your bedroom is this way, right? I'm sorry, show me again.
So, like I said, my
bedroom is right here. Okay.
So, hey, Lady Blue, good to see you. So she's demonstrating, but they're not showing it, y'all. If they show it, I'll show you. But they're basically showing the lawyers. They're not showing her demonstrating what happened.
And so you're coming up the stairs. Okay. Now, what was your 2-month-old?
She's fine. They're not showing it.
So let's do it this way, so the jury has you. So this is let's say
Look how that prosecutor's looking at her. He's like, did I give her some money at one time? I think I've seen her before. Look how he's looking at her.
What did you say, the truth? Because I went out. What you said?
I said, look how the prosecutor. He ain't looking at her face. Look how he looking at her. He looking right at her ass. That man that man back there too. He looking at her ass too. And this woman right here is looking at her ass too.
No, that's family members of that dude. They look distraught to me. They look,
No,
but
look at that dude in that whatever that fucking shirt he's wearing right there. That crazy shirt. Yep, he looking right at her ass. Look at her. Ooh, damn.
Oh God, the truth. Oh God.
What club did she say she work at?
All right, let's see if they show her doing this demonstration. I'm taking a chance showing this, y'all. Hopefully, I won't get struck. Y'all pray for me.
And at this point, he's saying things to you.
When the cops leave, they're gonna be like, I tell them if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you with the tire. That's come here and say we would get and we have to stop playing with because then like punches at me, I go to hit swing there's better I fall. Then charges at me on the surface.
And you say he charges at you.
Like yeah.
Okay.
At the surface.
Okay. Johnson, I know it's difficult to go back.
I knew he was going to get me.
So why did you feel
couldn't be him. I mean, I knew he was gonna hurt me. I didn't call the cops. The cops left. I knew he was mad about that. I knew he was mad about me and how he said he was gonna get me. He's done it before. I just knew it was gonna happen.
And he lunged at you.
He did.
And at that moment, you just pulled your gun out.
I did.
One shot.
Yes, sir.
And you've heard the recording that you say, "Bye." Tell us what was going through your mind.
At that point, I can't even tell you. Honestly, I just know I shot him. It was just like, I know, I don't know. Like, I just know that I did defend myself.
And where were your daughters at?
They were downstairs.
And do you remember telling your daughters, "Tell him he hit me"?
As we were walking out, I do recall saying that as we were like, once we got outside, I do recall saying that.
But you told the detective he didn't hit you.
Yes.
He just came at you, lunged at you.
Yes, I told him he didn't hit me that day.
And you felt like you had to do it to defend yourself from being injured by him again.
Yes.
And did you go down and give the police a statement?
I did.
You know what? You know what? Oh my God. So Shay, you right. You right, Shay. And that's the thing.
She said she turned the camera around.
Oh, she said, and he turned it around.
Yeah. And that's what prompted the security people to call her.
So why would he turn the camera around?
I don't know.
Because you know if the camera was that, it's a possibility that the camera could have caught this whole thing.
I believe the camera is a nanny cam for the baby.
It doesn't matter. When she said she was in the car and was watching him walk around in the room, there was a camera in the room.
Yes, I believe it was I believe it's a baby cam, to watch the baby.
No, it was. Okay, go ahead. Cause see now I'm fucked up because
I don't know. I don't think it was a security camera, because if it was a security camera, how could he turn it around? I believe
ring cam footage that we watched then.
That was I don't think that's her. I don't know if that's her ring cam or the next door neighbor's ring cam. It could be hers because it's pointed right out down the driveway. See what I'm saying? The ring cam, but I believe that this is a nanny cam that points so she can.
So my thing is
she can watch the baby.
If it was a nanny cam, it could have caught what went on.
And I believe he turned it around. I believe he turned it around because he knew she was watching him.
Okay. But my thing is this: if he turned it around, you say he probably turned around because she was watching him. But I said he turned it around because he knew he was gonna put his hands on her. He didn't want it on camera. I don't know.
He turned it around earlier.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe she was watching him, and he knew she was watching him. Yeah, the nanny cam should still capture sound.
They said he turned it around. Come on, I don't know who turned it. I don't.
Well, did he turn it off?
I don't know.
Did he pull the plug on it? I don't know, okay, let me look.
Because that show would have made this case simpler. I tell you that if it was caught on video, it would have made a whole lot. It would have made this case a whole lot simpler. Let me finish playing this because now I done got. Oh, but there's only like literally 2-3 minutes left, y'all.
Fully cooperate.
I did.
Did you tell them what had happened?
I did.
Did you give them access to your cell phone?
I did.
And what about the surveillance video in your house?
I gave them access to it as well.
And when you went outside, what did you say to the police who were still waiting outside?
But I told y'all he was going to do it.
And what happened after that?
I was handcuffed and put to the police station.
So you didn't have your phone or anything on you? Back to that location? Did anybody in your family ever go back to that location?
They went once. They went to retrieve some of my items for my daughters because my daughters were transported to Philadelphia. Once they got here, my house was flooded. My cameras was ripped out of the wall. Everything was damaged. My roof was caved in. So it wasn't nothing really solid.
What's on her lip?
Ms. Johnson, how did it make you feel knowing what had happened?
It still makes me feel the same way. I never wanted it to happen. I didn't intend for it to happen. I didn't mean for it to happen.
But in that moment, you felt like you had to defend yourself.
I did.
No further questions, Aaron.
Judge, may we take a break?
It's a lot.
So they're stating facts here, right? So okay, terrified Smith was staying. Testified Smith was staying with her at the house after he's released from jail and said he had nowhere to go. Was frightened by Smith's text messages threatening to because he had threatened and beat her 2 weeks earlier. She knew Smith was going to beat her because he had done it before and was scared because the cops had left her. Testified she didn't intend for the shooting to happen. She didn't tell officers about Smith's criminal past or show them the text message because they didn't ask. Said a friend told her about stand your ground law in Georgia and no need to retreat.
Wow. I don't know. I just feel like take herself. She's gonna no, even if she gets off on this, y'all, like her life, her kids' life, her whole family's life is never gonna be the same. Like, unless you're just a, mean, evil, demonic, just person, even if you take a person's life in self-defense, you still have to live with the fact that you took a person's life. And she's going to have to deal with the fact that as her child grows up, and even after her child gets grown, she's going to have to explain to that child that, she's the one that took his life. I mean, I feel for the young lady. Like, honestly, I do. And I don't want to distort the facts with my feelings, right? It's about facts, right? And I don't want to distort the facts with my feelings, but I went back to believing that this woman did what she had to do. I just feel like she did. I really feel like, and listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna put myself out there. Hell, why not? Everybody else do, right? even if everything that she did that day, let's just say she knew, because see, there's no disputing the history. There's no disputing the fact that this man has put. I don't know what her mama eat, Bruce. You want to call and ask her? Hell, I don't know. I don't know, E. Bruce, but listen, y'all. Let's just say with her staying out all night, because see, let me tell you something. With her staying out all night and being gone half of the day, she knew it was going to be an issue, right? Oh, I don't know, E. Bruce. I don't know. Because see, they've only mentioned the aunt. I don't think I've heard anything about a mama. But let's just say that now this woman knows what goes on in her household, right?
I believe it's Philly. I believe her mom lives in Philly.
Probably. That's why he felt like he can do it the way he did it. But listen, so let's just say that this woman knew that her staying out all night and half of the next day was going to be an issue. You know, even before, you know, he started making his threats or whatever, she knew it was going to be a problem, right? And let's just say she took 30 minutes to an hour out of before, you know, and thought about it. Listen, I'm sick of it. Like, honestly, I don't want to go through this no more. And maybe she did conjure up in her mind that day. Maybe she did make her mind up that day before she went to that house that if he put his hands on her, she was going to kill him. You know what I mean? Maybe she did. Maybe she did what she did as far as calling the police before she got home, on her way home, when she got there, after she got there. Maybe she did do that to cover her ass because she had made it up in her mind that if he put his hands on her again, she was going to kill him. And I got to be honest in saying this. I mean, now, let's just be clear before I say what I was about to say. When a man put his hands on you the first time, it's not going to stop. If he coward enough to do it one time, he'll do it again, right? So, yeah, if a man puts his hands on you, you should leave. You should leave. You should put him out. You should leave. It should be just done. Easier said than done, right? Especially when you have a 2-month-old baby. And a lot of times, like when you do end a relationship or try to end a relationship, that's where there's domestic violence involved, it's not easy to end it. When I say that, I mean this. Even if you get the person out your house, even if you break up with the person may not simply let you go like that. Like they will stalk you, you know. And then she had to have some type of communication with this dude because she has this baby. All I'm saying is this: if she made up in her mind before she went to that house that if he put his hands on her, she was gonna kill him, I'm gonna just say I don't blame her. I'm just saying, like, you know, other people can say, well, she should have did this and she could have did that, and you supposed to do this and you supposed to do that. But I'm just saying, like, unless you're in a situation where you see there's no way out. See, because a lot of women, whether people realize it or recognize it or not, when they feel there's no way out, they take their own lives. They do. They get to a point. Domestic violence, constant repeated domestic violence will have you feeling like you're never going to get out of it. It's never going to end, and there's no way out. And the only way out is to die. I'm going to tell you because I got to that point in my situation. And I done told my story. I know a lot of y'all are new, but when I decided it was over, and I admit that it was over, I got to a point to where, now I didn't think to take his life or my life, but I got to a point to where I didn't give a fuck, like, because I remember the incident that happened with me before I was able to actually get out, and the man put a gun to my head and said, I'm gonna kill you. And I told him, well, you're gonna have to kill me because I would rather die than continue to be with you. It's over. Me is the only way I can get out than kill me. Pull the trigger. What you waiting on? I did that. And I think about, y'all, let me tell you something. I think about that night, and I probably never forget that night for the rest of my life. Like, I think about that night to where I, at a point, was so fed up that I would rather die. Because then the torture and the abuse and the pain would just go away. You know what I'm saying? So, in those situations, I could see a woman, either she gonna do one or two things. Some women get to the point to where they want to say, I'm gonna kill you or you gonna kill me. But I ain't gonna be with you no more. It's just that simple. It's not simple, it's actually very intense to come up, to make a decision like that. But that's how much of a toll, years and years of abuse will put on you. You just never know what might happen. You never know what might happen. You never know what might pop up. You live in constant fear. You walking on eggshells every day. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to say right. I mean, it's just a lot. And I feel like that this young woman, she got to a point to where she didn't want to take it no more. She didn't want to take it no more. And like I said, if she did decide on her way home that if he put his hands on her, she was gonna kill him, I don't blame her. She do gotta rectify that though. She has to, even if she gets off, she has to rectify that with God. But it's just bad. But anywho, all right, I had a moment, y'all. But we're gonna listen to this last video. We're gonna listen to, and I'm glad I caught it because it was just posted 2 hours ago. And it's day 2 wrap up. Now I don't know if day 2 was yesterday or today. I don't know if day 2 wrap up was just the other day, but anyway, it's the latest. It's the latest, and it's a wrap up of what went on in the courtroom. So let me share this.
It is great to see you on this Thursday morning. Welcome to this hour of Court TV Live. I'm your host, Julie Grant. We start this hour off for you in the state of Georgia, where court's resuming in our next hour in the self-defense or murder trial. It was an action-packed day on Wednesday, my friends. Let me tell you, the state resting its case after calling a total of 50.
So it was Wednesday's wrap up, y'all, which was day 2. I guess Wednesday was day 2. So this happened Wednesday.
Witnesses over the course of 2 days that led to possibly the biggest moment in the case thus far, when Quanisha Johnson took the stand.
Ms. Johnson, do you understand that you have the right to testify, and if you want to testify, then no one can prevent you from doing so? And do you understand that no one can make or compel you to testify? That is, do you understand that you have the right to not testify if you do not want to testify? Do you understand that not your lawyer, but you personally are the one who decides whether you will testify or not testify? Do you understand if you do not testify, then upon proper request by you, the court will instruct the jury that your decision cannot be used against you? Do you understand if you choose to testify, you will be both examined by your counsel and cross-examined by the assistant district attorney? Do you feel that you need any additional time to speak with your attorney about whether you want to testify or not? Do you personally want to testify or not testify? Yes.
All right, for more now on Quanisha Johnson's big day on the witness stand, let's take you out to the greater Atlanta area where we find Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae standing by for us outside of the courthouse. Julia, good morning to you. Big day, as you know, Wednesday for defendant Quanisha Johnson. You were there in the courtroom watching all of her testimony in person, anxious to hear what you really were able to pick up on from her demeanor inside of the courtroom, and then also outside too, as you've been watching her there as well.
Julie, good to be with you this morning. Yesterday was a jam-packed day. We're expecting another jam-packed day inside of the courtroom today with potentially closing arguments coming by this afternoon. Yesterday, Quanisha Johnson taking the stand was a big moment after the state rested. She was her defense case's first witness on the stand, and she really kept herself composed during direct examination. Her attorney, Michael Sterling, asking her those questions about the relationship with the shooting victim in this case. What led up to it? She didn't talk about child's father, and she wanted him to have a relationship with her baby, and that's why she let him stay in the house. And this day in question, she just wanted a night out. She wanted a break with her friends and didn't think there would be any issue with leaving, but said her phone died, and that's what led up to this argument between the two. One of the most emotional moments during that direct examination came at the very end of it, right before things were about to turn over to cross-examination. Take a listen.
Ms. Johnson, how did it make you feel knowing what had happened?
It still makes me feel the same way. I never wanted it to happen. I didn't intend for it to happen. I didn't mean for it to happen.
But in that moment, you felt like you had to defend yourself.
I did.
The jurors were doing a lot of writing during her testimony. Also, the testimony of her 7-year-old daughter, now 8 years old, who testified yesterday. And I'm wondering if they also noticed some things that happened outside of the courthouse. These jurors go in and out of the same door. And yesterday, we noticed Quanisha outside of court with her kids. And this is
I had to pause it because I had to catch this for y'all. This her outside the courtroom, y'all.
seemingly a really important moment for them, because there have been times that she hasn't been able to spend time with her kids. It was under court order that her child could not be with her through the pendency of this case. They didn't want any kind of tampering or tainting of her child's testimonies. That's been since November of 2022. But yesterday I noticed them outside just seeming to have the time of their life, Julie, with their mom. Now, tomorrow, Michael Sterling, the defense attorney for Quanisha Johnson, says that he is going to be calling at least 2 witnesses. There's one that they are trying to get into this case that they say they've got an investigator outside of that person's house to serve them a subpoena. We don't know if we're going to hear from them, but we know that they want to bring in some of the bad character evidence that has to do with the shooting victim in this case, DeMonte Smith.
Right. Well, that'll be big. This is going to be a big day, Julia, as you know. It seems like just with every witness, they could really make or break this case, especially Quanisha Johnson, as you told us. And, you know, when she was up there on direct, of course, we know with any witness, they're going to be better on direct than on cross. But sometimes, you know, the jurors cannot like the way a lawyer is handling them on cross. And here, the prosecution really focused in on that theme of her mothering. Julie, I know you were watching the jury. How did they seem to take to that?
I will say there's at least one woman juror who did not seem to care for the way the prosecution was seemingly attacking her choices. That reiterating the fact, Prosecutor Rahan Shah, that she had options, that she could have left, that she could have gone to her friends that she had been out partying with. She could have taken her children and gone there, even suggesting that she could have left the infant that she shared with DeMonte Smith, because that would have legally been his child too, but that she could have taken her other 2 children and left if there was an altercation. So there's this back and forth with her saying that she did not know that things would get to that level, and she didn't want to leave her kids. Take a listen to a bit of that cross-examination centering on her mothering.
You found it okay to leave your 3 children with him overnight.
the problem wasn't that I was at work, so me leaving my kids with him to go out for my friend's birthday. Yes, I did. I didn't feel like anything.
Okay. And you were gone all night, right?
I was at work. Yeah.
At work, gone all night. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And 2 weeks after, on November 26th, you decided, even though this man has put his hands on me and he has been violent to me, I'm going to leave my 3 children under the age of 8 in his custody all night. Is that right?
He was not violent to my daughters, so yes.
Okay, so that's what you found fit.
A lot of evidence about what happened before, what happened afterward, her demeanor. But Julie, she was firm on the stand that he was attacking her. He was coming after her. And that's why she closed her eyes and pulled the trigger.
Julia Janae live for us in Atlanta all over this one. Thank you so much for that early update. We'll look forward to more of your reporting throughout the day. And here's what we're going to do now, folks. Let's talk about believability, right? You know, whether someone is credible on the stand with every single witness, no matter who they are, credibility is always an issue for the jury. So this morning, we're wondering, what does Quanisha Johnson's body language reveal to those watching this case? So we're bringing in an expert to tell us. We've got with us on the show this morning, body language expert, author, and senior instructor at the Body Language Institute, Mr. Rodney Smith, joining us. Rodney, good morning. Good to see you. Want to show you some videos and play some clips and really just have you analyze this objectively, as you have no horse in this race. So first of all, I want to show you a video of her crying on direct examination, talking about the shooting, getting visibly emotional for the jury. Let's watch that and tell us if anything is jumping out at you, whether this is forced, whether it just appears natural. If we could roll that clip, that'd be great.
It still makes me feel the same way.
The glasses come off too, Rodney. I mean, wiping the eyes and yanking the glasses off. What do you think here? Does this crying appear natural?
So as I'm watching this video, one of a few things that I actually see here is just before she pulls and as she's pulling the glasses off, in the micro expression and macro expression of sadness, there's an inner reliability muscle that does this inner pull, and you'll see a wrinkling of the upper brow area. And we actually see that starting to take place just as the tears start to fall down her face. I believe that the pulling of the glasses off was to actually clear her face so that she could wipe her eyes. But just as you notice here, you can see her nostrils. Her nostrils are actually flaring, which is not it is not uncommon to see when an individual, when an individual is upset or sad because they're trying to bring in more oxygen to help bring themselves back to homeostasis because they're not in a comfortable circumstance or situation. And we also see the corners of her mouth start to go down. So with the reliability of the sadness, we see the corners coming down, that inner pull into the upper brow area in conjunction with the tears. I would say that that congruency is 100% accurate, because this is the only time that we actually see some true emotion where we're talking about the actual death that was done to the victim in this case, as well as the conjunction of the flaring of the nostrils.
Sure.
As you can see there, as the clip rewinds, when it goes back, the nostrils actually, just before she takes the glasses off, you'll see those nostrils just start to open just a little bit. Right. So with all of those three factors, I would say that, in my personal opinion, that actually looks to be congruent with sadness.
Sure. And we appreciate that because, as you know, Rodney, we see a lot of defendants who will take the stand, lie on the stand, and cry crocodile tears. But that certainly doesn't seem to be the case with Quanisha Johnson. That her defense team has to contend with is what she said after the shooting. It's pretty savage. And for any folks just now joining us, I mean, she says bye to him twice after shooting him. So, of course, had to explain it away when she was on the witness stand, and surely they crossed her on it. This clip I've got for you, Rodney, is on the cross-examination, the prosecutor going at her. Let's analyze it from that standpoint now.
All right.
and you shoot him, and then you say bye. But on direct, you said you kind of blacked out, right?
Yes.
And your last words to the dying man were bye multiple times.
Yes, I don't recall saying that. Had I been to my senses, I wouldn't have, but yes, I did say bye.
Okay. But you tell detectives what you did was you kind of followed him down the stairs and made sure he was okay.
I did.
Okay. But you didn't do that because you said bye, and that's the only thing that's heard, right?
I did walk him down the steps.
Okay, Rodney, do you detect any deception there?
So the biggest thing when he starts to ask her, did you say bye? We notice there's a slight shoulder shrug, and she shakes her head and she says, I don't recall that. And she throws this slight shoulder shrug. And as we see that shoulder shrug, coupled with the shaking of the head no, which we always affirm to be in the negative, that shoulder shrug in itself says, I'm a bit uncertain. I'm not 100% sure. There's a possibility I did. There's a possibility I didn't. But then when he asked her, you did follow him downstairs, her congruency with yes and her congruencies with no's seem to be on point, on the correct timing. And as we actually see where they asked her, you see the eyes go up. She's accessing the visual remembrance of her brain so that she can actually try to see this and relive this situation and circumstance. But as I see that she shrugs her shoulder and she says, I don't remember, I'm not sure. So there's a sense of uncertainty there. Mm-hmm. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but she never flat outright denies it.
Right, Rodney, which seems to make sense because she's in a state of trauma. Even if you try to remember, it may be possible, right, that she just doesn't. When you take someone's life, you fire a gun at someone, the father of your children. I mean, this is fascinating to hear it from your perspective, because you're just looking at the body language and it's indicating truthfulness on behalf of Quanisha Johnson.
Yes. Yeah. One thing, Julie, that I like to try to do, especially if I'm looking at someone's body language, if you look at everything and just turn the volume off and just listen or just look at what you see and watch the behaviors, the shaking of the head no, the shoulder shrugs, the furrowing of the brows, the raise of the eyebrows, and just try to interpret what does that mean.
Sure.
And then go back and watch it with the words and then try to measure that congruency real time together.
Oh, that's a great trick for us you just shared, Rodney Smith. I know our courties are loving that. Thank you so much for lending us your expertise this morning. Would love to have you back sometime soon. Take good care.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. We're going to squeeze in a quick break, friends. We want to know what you think about this trial. In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter. You can tweet at me directly. Any comments, questions, if you like, at Julie Court TV is my handle, or our network handle, of course, is at Court TV. And we're on Threads as well, by the way, if you want to send us a message there.
You think she'll block me if I put you phony ass?
Why are you calling that lady phony?
She's phony as shit. Oh my goodness gracious, that was the wonderful tip you just gave us.
No, you can't say that. You don't want that lady being phony. My God, today be true.
She's phony.
I like her. I like her better than that other lady, the blonde. I like her better than her. And she don't know what the hell she talking about. But anywho, that's it. That's it for any updates, any coverage. It's 1:04. What time you going live tonight?
I am going my regular time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Me and Miss Liz will be there to break down the FBI being called, and I just released my promo, and it's a good one. It goes back to when old Helmet Head was dogging Mike out about his, burnt up crusty grandma.
Oh Lord, have mercy, Jesus be a fence.
Now they best friends and wanna go to the FBI together and shit.
Well, y'all, I'm gonna take an hour break. I'm going on lunch break and not eat necessarily because I don't eat lunch. like that. But I'm gonna take a lunch break, and I'll be back at 2. I'm coming back at 2 on the Crime Daily channel. Okay, because we got some updates that I want to get into today, y'all. I do. I'm working hard on these crime and justice channels because I feel like I've been neglecting them. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break.
All right, I'm looking for coupons for this thigh high boots.
Maybe fine, it is, and I'm gonna keep watch out. I'm gonna keep a watch out because they're in court today, so anything might break loose, anything might break out. Thank you, Cool Breeze. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I'm adamant about staying on these crime and justice channels. For y'all, the ones that appreciate it, the ones that like it. So yeah, so do true. I'm gonna get that live in at 2 so I can be all rested and prepared for your live later on tonight, honey.
Okay, if anybody has any coupons for these thigh high boots, please.
You know what? Why are you buying that woman that you don't even know if she's gonna be free to wear thigh high?
She could wear them in jail. I don't care.
God.
I don't care.
We groups. Thank you, girl. Y'all do something with the truth.
Trey's with me on that. Trey is with me on that. Buying that woman some thigh high boots.
You know, telling what Trey doing, child. But anywho, I love y'all and I appreciate y'all for supporting this content that matters. I do. Thank you so much. And I appreciate y'all for supporting my don't
Trey, they hating on me for buying that woman thigh high boots.
Lala, yeah, I may have something coming this weekend. Stay tuned.
I thought you were against thigh high boots last night.
No, Gabe is against thigh high boots, not me.
You was the one talking about they smell like food and stuff.
No, I said you can't wear them in the winter or in the summer.
Thank you, Melissa.
Can't wear them in the summer because then the toes would be stinky. But I am totally 100% for thigh high boots.
Wow.
And only thigh high boots. I'm just.
Thank you, Ebooks. If you're in this live and you are not subscribed to my True Crime Dailies channel, please go and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I will be live over there in about 45-50 minutes with some updates on some cases we've been covering. Yeah, gonna get it in today.
Gabe is the hater, not me.
And of course, Trey will be live at his normal time later on with his shenanigans, y'all. So y'all know to subscribe to Trey.
I only got 3 hours to get my live in.
You know what? Your lives, to be honest, they used to be short, but they getting longer, but they be juicy. They be good. They be good. So yeah. So that being said, y'all, we're gonna get off of here. I'll see y'all for those that's gonna join me over on my other channel in about 45-50 minutes. The Truth, I appreciate you as always. Trey, Baby Petty, appreciate y'all as well. Shout out to y'all True Sippers and State Gang members. I don't know when I got cut off, so I just started back over. Shout out to Trey, The Truth. Shout out to my mods. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all subscribers. I appreciate y'all as well. And I will see y'all, like I say, in about 45-50 minutes, all right? So that being said, y'all be good and y'all be safe, okay? Be safe out there. Be safe. Be blessed. Never stress. I appreciate y'all. I really, really do. And yeah, I'll see y'all later on. True Super State Gang, stand up. And we're out.
Access my regular. I'm talking takes my better now. Takes my better now. Way better. Access my regular. I'm talking takes my better now. Says my regular. I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. Oh, way better. Six my regular. I'm talking things for better now. Oh, things for better now. I